Molson Canadian Maple Leaf Classics on LeafsTV. It's a Canadian game. Brought to you by Molson Canadian.
It's April 19th, 1978, and the Toronto Maple Leafs and the New York Islanders are preparing for Game 2 of the Stanley Cup quarterfinals at the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. This is Molson Canadian Maple Leaf Classics on LeafsTV. The Toronto Maple Leafs are led by Daryl Sittler, Tiger Williams, and Lanny McDonald. The New York Islanders counter with Mike Bossy, Brian Trottier, and Denny Potvin. Hello once again, everyone. I'm Joe Bowen, and welcome to Maple Leaf Classics on LeafsTV. The Maple Leafs, after finishing third behind the Boston Bruins and Buffalo Sabres with 92 points this season, have eliminated the Los Angeles Kings in straight games in the preliminary round. They advanced to this series with the New York Islanders still as heavy underdogs, though. The Islanders finished second overall with 111 points this year and had a preliminary round bye. The Leafs dropped Game 1 on the island 4-1 and are hoping for a series split before returning to Maple Leaf Gardens for Games 3 and 4. The heroes of the honeycombed hideouts tonight are Glenn Chico Resch for the New York Islanders and the Popcorn Kid Mike Palmateer for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Because it's April 19th, 1978, the Leafs and Islanders in the quarterfinals. You're watching Molson Canadian Maple Leaf Classics on LeafsTV. The New York Islanders are led by rookie Mike Bossy, who promised GM Bill Torrey he would score 50 goals and bettered that by 3. The Islanders have 5 future Hall of Famers dotting their lineup. The Leafs are a big physical team, but put together to try and counteract the Broad Street bullies in Philadelphia. They will try to use the size and aggressiveness of Tiger Williams, Kurt Walker, and Brian Glennie. Dan Maloney was the Blackhawks' first choice and 14th overall in 1970 after starring for the London Knights alongside Daryl Sittler. Maloney would later be dealt to Los Angeles and then Detroit before the Leafs acquired him in a huge deal with the Wings. The Leafs sent 2 first-round picks along with popular Errol Thompson to the Wings for Maloney. Maloney played 5 seasons in Toronto. In 737 NHL games, Dan Maloney had 192 goals, 451 points, and oh yes, 1,489 penalty minutes. And not a scar on that lovely visage either.
Same face my mother does.
How are you, Dan? Good to have you here.
Good to see you.
This series with the Islanders is a very memorable one. Obviously, a team and an organization that was just starting to get back together after the 67 and the 60 years of Stanley Cup victories. And this was a real taste of a team that said, you know what, we can win. We could win this whole thing.
It was very interesting for us because we were going in against a very highly touted, great Islander hockey team, and we certainly were the underdogs, but we knew that it was going to be a long, hard-fought series. It was going to be inch by inch, and that's exactly the way it ended up.
Now, I mentioned that maybe the toughness that was added to this lineup was to counteract what was going on in Philadelphia, but the Islanders were a pretty physical bunch themselves.
The Islanders could play the game whichever way you wanted it. They were very talented. They had great foot soldiers in Bobby Nystrom and Howitt and you know, even big Clark Gillies on the front line with Trottier and Bossy. These were a physical presence, and as you well know, after this series was over, these 2 teams were pretty badly beat up, but that was only the second round of the marathon.
The long marathon. When you get to a situation like this, the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum is a tough place to play in. And we talk about some of the newer rinks now that are kind of cookie cutters. This rink really did have some atmosphere to it.
It certainly did, and Long Island, the fans were just absolutely fantastic. Anytime you went in there, you were an absolute enemy, no matter who you were, and they let you know it. They'd be climbing over the glass, they'd be giving it to you all the time, and you know, I can remember in that series in the warm-up, they actually had to have the security come along and just kind of back the crowd down because it was getting a little heated just in the warm-up.
Thank God they weren't handing out guns.
No kidding.
Now, tell us a little bit about what your role was on this team and how you perceived it.
Well, I was brought in, you know, from Detroit. I was the captain of Detroit, and they needed some little more physical presence up front. And certainly, you know, back in those days, you guys like Tiger and myself could supply that for you and score a few goals too. And it was a great honor getting to come to Toronto from Detroit, getting to play with some of my old teammates that I had in junior, and there was a couple of them there. There was Patty Boutette and there was Daryl, and it was kind of good to get back. And let's face it, coming to play hockey in Toronto, it's the place to play.
So you're down 1-0. You're on Long Island. What was the mindset going into Game 2?
Well, we knew we were in for a real dogfight, and Game 1 in the island, they come out just smoking as we knew they would. But there was a lot of experience on this team, and a lot of credit has to go to the veteran players, but some of the younger guys played really well too. But the calmness and coolness of a guy like Roger Nielson and just absolutely meticulous order of things gave everybody settled down and just said, this is what we have to do, let's go do it.
All right, well, let's find out how they do, because we're taking Dan Maloney back to April 19th, 1978. It's Game 2 of the Islanders and Leafs in the quarterfinals of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And you're watching Molson Canadian Maple Leaf Classics on Leafs TV.
Manitoba, and I'm the referee for tonight's game.
My name is Gerard Gauthier. I'm one of the linesmen for tonight's game, and I'm from Montreal, Quebec.
Matt Pavlich, I'm lineman for tonight's game. I'm from the Sioux.
And here's Mike Palmetier in goal tonight for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Down at the other end, you're looking at Glenn Chico Resch. And the game is underway. Number 2 in this quarterfinal series. This is Bob Cole from Long Island in New York, along with Brian McFarland. And look at it. It's starting already, Brian. They're beginning to hit. This is Maloney centering the puck. McDonald gets ready, took a shot, and Resch decides he better hang on to this. It's getting too tough already.
Well, Roger Nielson, as you might expect, is going to have his Leafs in an aggressive, hard-hitting mood, just as he did the other night in game number 1, his first year coaching in the NHL playoffs. And I must say, Bob Cole, he's taking it very calmly.
Now the Islanders trying to move it out. They get it to center, and Salming pushed it back in again. Resch behind the net, stopping it. He'll do that at every opportunity to try to control the play in his own end for the defenseman. They move it out now. Putman got it up to Gillies. There's Nystrom moving in. Nystrom into the corner, was bumped by Turnbull. They push at each other, hammering each other on this side. Salming was knocked down. Back of the net, Nystrom going into the corner. Maloney ran into Gillies. Turnbull goes in, and they hold it on the board. They played a minute of the first period, no score, and it's rough already.
Yeah, we mentioned the other night that Al Arbour went 19 consecutive years as a player and coach in the playoffs until he took over the Islanders, and what a marvelous job he's done in a few short years here, along with Bill Torrey, building this team into a NHL powerhouse.
Okay, we have Trottier at center ice. Now I think he'll be going off. There he goes, number 19, and Wayne Merrick, along with Howitt and Billy Harris for the New York Islanders. The Leafs have Sittler at center, with Williams, number 22, and Ron Ellis, number 6. There's Sittler against Merrick, deep in the Maple Leaf zone to the left of Palmetier. No score, a minute gone in the first period. Long shot by Pearson, and that's knocked down off the boards by Palmetier. Stefan Pearson, number 7, the defenseman, and he's got a good shot.
Bob, during the evening we'll be bringing you the Montreal scoring plays as they develop in Montreal at the Forum, and we'll watch Wayne Merrick on these face-offs too. He suffered an injured hand in the first game, and he also has the flu.
Boutet, number 15, on for the Maple Leafs. Back of the net. That's Glenny looking around, and it's Salming with his pass. Back to Glenny in front of the net. He got it down to center ice. Pearson with Hart. And the pass up on the wing, stopped by Harris, back in his own zone for Jerry Hart. Hart played it up again to Merrick. He was stopped at the blue line. Glenny can't move it out, but Salming does. Pearson, as the Islanders look organized at the center ice area. Hart is knocked flying at center ice by Butler. And here's Jones for Toronto. Out to Butler at center. Salming catching up. Here's Salming coming in. Gets set. Took a screenshot, the puck rolling right in front, and we've got a penalty coming up against Pearson of the New York Islanders. He put the grab on the lead player in the crease.
Stefan Pearson took the penalty, and now we have fist flying down there. Salming moved in. He was trying to get that loose puck in the crease area when Stefan Pearson grabbed Salming, the two great Swedish players, in a matchup. Boutet was in there as well. He may be going, well, he is going now for the Leafs. And let's see if there are additional penalties here. From the Nassau Coliseum, this is Stanley Cup 78. The Canadian flag prominently displayed again tonight here at the Nassau County Coliseum. Bob Cole, I can't understand why Boutet would want to get involved there and draw a penalty after Stefan Pearson had already been given a penalty for holding Salming at 150. Here's Salming firing it into the crease area. Well, you can see the lock that Stefan Pearson has on the Leaf player. And now Glennie, right in front of the net, and Sittler had a chance to open the scoring, but Resch came up big, covering on the short side. They're by the side now, and Lewis starts up for the Islanders. At center is Bourne. Bourne up across the line, took a weak shot off the boards. Franche was stopped by Ellis, and they hold it for a second. Now Salming gets it loose. Into the corner on the other side. Glennie looking around. He got it by Bourne for Salming. Here he comes. 2.5 minutes into the first period and no score. Sittler lobbed one in. Ellis going after it. But Resch handed it right to Ellis. Ellis tried to center it, and the Islanders break it up. Come right back, led by Potvin. At center ice with Trache on his left. That's a dangerous Newsom. There's a shot, and that was wide. Trache has it. On the other side, he's stopped, but here's Bourne. And he was bumped by Salming. Sittler now coming out with Ellis on his right. They're across the line together at center. Sittler going in, tried to fake the defenseman Potvin, but could not do it. They go to the boards back to the net. Ellis is after it. He was pounded off the puck. And Trache, I believe, will be going off. The crowd does not like it, but Ryan Trache is going off for charging. And there's the face-off. Marshall is the other man on for New York. Salming in good position from the line. Threw it by Sittler and Williams. Now Sittler has it, looks out for Salming. Sittler takes a look at the net, doesn't shoot it. Still in control, now gives it to Salming. He'll play it back to Sittler. Sittler shoots. He put it right on. The rebound comes to Salming. He passed it off to one side. McDonald. He couldn't hit Sittler, and it was cleared down the ice by Henning. Lauren Henning intercepting the pass. 10 seconds left in the first two penalties. The Leafs with a man advantage, and Salming brings it in. For Darryl Sittler. Sittler closing in. Set up. Williams back to Sittler on a skate. Now it comes back to Salming, and he was run away by Pearson, who had just come from the penalty box. Boutet flipped it across the line. Henning now for New York, shooting it out to center. This is McDonald winding up, looking for a hole. They're tough to find on this New York Islanders team. Sittler carries on. Sittler breaking right in front around the goal. Sittler back to the line. Here's Turnbull. Salming takes the shot, deflected wide. And Resch tipped it away for Harris. And back to Henning coming in. Took the shot. And that's deflected by Salming. And it's up into the crowd. No score. 4.5 minutes gone in the first period. Hey, we've got a great start to this hockey game here tonight. We've had a little bit of everything. The tempers have been frayed a little bit already. Sittler playing in his 42nd career playoff game. Missed a great scoring opportunity early on. And we must comment on the penalty killing of the Islanders, particularly Lauren Henning, one of the great penalty killers in hockey today. Leafs had all kinds of trouble trying to penetrate while they had the man advantage. There is no score. 4 minutes, 30 seconds gone in the first period. And the Islanders, Trache has 33 seconds left in his charging penalty. So the Leafs still have the man advantage. Sittler is going off, as you see. And Stan Weir is on between Ellis and Maloney. And his Potvin back in his own zone. He'll look for an opening and shoot it off the boards. It goes down to the Leaf blue line. Turnbull starts from there. Couldn't control it. Henning stopped it. Now Johansson or Turnbull.
Trying to get it ahead to Maloney. Maloney shoots it from center. Ellis trying to catch up. Lewis is there first. There it goes. Down the ice. 4 seconds left in Planche's penalty. He's standing up. The crowd roaring. And here's Turnbull coming in. Islanders at full strength. Turnbull into the corner. Looks around. Trying to lob it in front of a stop. And now Physicality for New York. Laid it up on the line. This is Planche. And he's fresh from the penalty box coming in. Planche cuts for the goal. And he's pulled from behind. And he goes right on. And again, the fans thinking maybe a penalty might have been called. But here we go to center ice. It's Johansson and Weir for Toronto. Back to Johansson. Into Weir. Didn't reach him. And it's clear to center. Knocked down by Johansson. A good play by the Leaf defenseman. Potvin, number 5. He spins away from Maloney easily. Comes up across the line. He nearly got through. It's tipped to the blue line, but not out. Physicality took the shot off the boards in the corner. Now Turnbull. He takes his time, bringing it out with a nice pass for Butler at his center ice. Butler shoots one. Resch gloved it and threw it off to one side. Potvin ahead to Bourne. Nearing the 7-minute mark of the first period. No score in the hockey game. And it's been a great one so far. Here come the Islanders led by Hart. His pass stopped at center. The Leafs breaking it up. Now Physicality shoots it. They're changing as the play goes on at torrid pace in this first period. And look at Salming now. Up to the line at center. This is Salming passing off. Jones cuts in, took a shot and a check. And he went flying as Jerry Hart hit him. Jerry Hart, number 2, back to the net. 6.5 minutes gone to the first period. They're unable to score so far at center ice. Pearson had stopped. And now Glennie across the line on a solo effort. A high lob shot grabbed by Resch. He dropped it right away. The Leafs keep it in. Salming pounded one off the boards. Hart has it now. They've reached 7 minutes. It's still scoreless in the first period. And now Merrick shoots one to the line. Merrick has stopped, and McDonald trying to catch up to it. Leaped to it by Lewis. Now Jones is trying, and McDonald has to rush back outside the line. Jones made a good play, waiting for him to get onside. On it, the Islanders coming back. Nystrom shoots it in. He was checked by Salming. And the Leafs are back to cover up. Coming up to the 8-minute mark. No score. Gillies took a shot. Intercepting that pass. And it was stopped by Paul Mateer. Now it's center. Gillies is tied up. And a penalty coming up for Salming. Gillies was upended, sent flying by Salming. And the Leaf player goes off.
Here's the penalty to Borje Salming for hooking at 7:34. Salming in the penalty box, and Al Arbour has now reunited his big line of Bossy, Gillies, and Trottier. Let's see what happens.
Okay, Brian. Nearing the 8-minute mark of the first period. No score. Now the Islanders, having killed a penalty, have the man advantage. Trottier, center, good up the draw. And he got the face-off. Bossy, he's dangerous. He was stopped by Turnbull, though. Planche has it now. Good move in the corner to fool Turnbull. Looking around for Potvin. The shot deflected high off the glass. Pearson coming in from the line. Back into the corner again for Trottier. Trottier looks back to the blue line to Potvin. Potvin over to Pearson. Pearson winds up, rolling into Bossy. Oh, that shot was stopped by Paul Mateer. Bossy is sent flying by Johansson, and then Johansson cleared it down the ice. 1 minute and 25 seconds left in the penalty to Salming. No score in this first period, and here's Gillies dropping it back to Pearson at center. He shoots it in. The Islanders pouring after it on the power play. Planche was fooled by Jones. Jones back in the net. He had trouble. Turnbull couldn't find it. Planche knocked it loose. Planche after it. He was bumped. And now they hold it on the board. It comes loose again. Finally, the whistle goes, and they'll get a face-off in the Maple Leaf zone to the left.
Paul Mateer and the Leaf goal with a record over the regular season of 34 wins, 19 losses, 9 ties. He said yesterday that he gambled coming out the other night with Nystrom breaking through the Leaf defense. He gambled and he lost. He was quick to admit it.
58 seconds left in Salming's penalty. There's no score in this first period, and they've played 8 minutes and 36 seconds. The big line, Trottier, Gillies, and Bossy on for New York. Jim Jones. Good penalty killer is on for Toronto. Pearson at the blue line to Potvin at the point. Potvin closing in, centered it. Stopped by Glennie. Good play, and Glennie slashes it all the way down the ice and rush. Now, 42 seconds left in the Leaf penalty. No score on the Islanders' power play as Potvin coming to center. Potvin up over the line, still has it, good control on it. Potvin rolled it, went off the stick, Turnbull blocked it, and Potvin has it again. Potvin comes back out to the blue line, took a shot, deflected, and down they go in front of the net. And it's cleared away. Paul Matier made a big stop with Bossy in the goal crease. It's cleared down the ice by Ferguson. 12 seconds left in Solomon's penalty. Here's Pearson. They'll have to move it quickly. Solomon gets ready to step back on. And it's Potvin racing in with Nystrom shooting one. This is a low shot and wide. Solomon is back on. The Leafs have killed the penalty. There's no score nearing the halfway mark of the first period. This is Physicality, number 21, dropping it back to Pearson. Coming out for New York, and Bourne has it up the line. He was stopped. Here's Sittler going in with McDonald. McDonald shoots one. A hard shot was wide. Maloney let it go. Sittler went after it quickly. He was sent flying, but it was grabbed by Greg right in the crease. This is Stanley Cup 78 from the Nassau Coliseum on Long Island.
Score midway through period number 1 of Game 2. The Islanders and the Maple Leafs back in the quarterfinals of 1978. Dan Maloney, our guest, and a defense corps that obviously was led by Boreas Salming, and he had really come into his own by this point in 1978. But a young guy that was maybe in Boreas' shadow a little bit was Ian Turnbull, but another guy that could really put some points up on the board.
Ian was a very talented hockey player, as well as being a very big, strong player. And, you know, he came into this series, and, you know, Ian played some great games for us during the course of the season, but when he came into this series, it was business. And he truly was one of the key big factors of this series, no question about it.
He's a record holder for most goals by a defenseman in a game by the Maple Leafs. He's put up big-time numbers in single games. He could lug the puck out of his own end, and he was a great guy on the power play.
Yeah, he could be the captain on the power play, and certainly he and Bourne got the brunt of playing against the other team's big lines. But another good thing about Ian, he's the kind of a guy you can play him as much as you wanted to. He didn't get tired. He was just a big, strong guy, and you know, this series did take its toll on him, but I can tell you right now, he played a lot of hockey.
Now, off the ice and individually, he was an interesting character, and still is.
He is so. He was my roommate when I first came here, and he was an interesting fellow, and certainly having played against him a little bit of junior, because he started very young in junior, and he was with like the Montreal Canadiens at the time, maybe Ottawa and then Montreal. But anyways, he became a pretty good player. Like I said, off the ice, he was quite a character, always pulling a joke, always having fun. And gosh, you look back to some of the times he would do some crazy things, like he'd have his own whistle in practice and all that kind of stuff. So
how did Roger handle that?
Not good. But anyways, Roger was a pretty good guy, and then Ian would oftentimes, when Palmy wasn't practicing, Ian would put the pads on and go out there, and he'd be in practice net. So needless to say, there's a few hard ones.
So he was the third-string goaltender in an emergency?
I'd be thinking.
That'd be a frightening thing, too.
Yeah.
Ian Turnbull, a key part of the Maple Leaf defense. No score between the Islanders and Leafs. Let's go back upstairs to the booth.
Face off in the New York zone to the right of Bresch. No score at the halfway mark of the first period. You're out of position. They didn't drop it in. Now it comes back to the line. Solomon took a shot. High one. Grabbed by Red. Maloney went after it, but it was cleared to Marshall for Harris. He gets it to center. There's Merrick after it. Shot by McDonald. They both fall to the ice. Into the corner. It comes right back to Hart. Hart on a bad angle. Can't shoot it. It's deflected back of the goal. And McDonald comes up with it for Toronto and starts out. A pass went by Sittler. And Bert Marshall back in his own zone. Marshall out front of the net. That looked dangerous for a second. Now it's Howard shooting one from center. Paul Matier got a stick on it. Salming for McDonald. Lining up with Sittler in the lead zone and coming out now. A long pass too far for Salming. And it's played off Salming's stick over the glass. into the crowd. No score in this first period.
Bob, the best scoring chance in the game so far came when Potvin circled in front. Look at Bossy waving at him there, number 22, and Bossy got that pass, almost kicked the puck loose, and Palmatier got the pads down. The puck slid by the open side of the net.
And Glennie made a big play there on Bossy, taking him out of the play. Bossy had that short side wide open.
They were saying about him before the game, he seems to materialize from nowhere, Mike Bossy. You think you have an eye on him, then suddenly he's right beside the net, taking a whack at a puck, and that's how he scored 53 goals in the regular season.
Fantastic anticipation, that young man. Always there, as you say, Brian. In good position for a shot or a tip in. Here's a long drive by Hart that was deflected. Boutet for Salming. Salming has seen a lot of action in this first period so far. Salming again. He'll try to clear it. Goes back to his own goal with it. That's Kazicki, number 21 in front of the net. Boutet can move it out. Nystrom has it. Nystrom tried to drop it back to Marshall and couldn't. Here's Ferguson. Coming out to center ice, Ferguson. Got as far as the Islander blue line. It's knocked down and wheeling away. The Islanders led by Nystrom. Coming in with Kazicki. Nystrom couldn't get around to the fence. Butler got back to tie him up. Salming dropped at it. And it went across the blue line. Marshall couldn't keep it in. He was mounted by Ferguson. They're going to be penalties again. They go out of the center ice. That's Marshall taking a thumping from Ferguson.
Marshall came into Ferguson with his stick high. He was going to get the penalty. You could see the arm go up by referee Andy Van Helleman. And then as both players went down, Marshall dropped stick and gloves. And I think he took the worst of it against the Leaf center, George Ferguson. Well, the referee called that one correctly, Bob, although the fans here don't think so. Watch Marshall get the stick up here against George Ferguson. In upper corner of your screen right there. Then the players sprawl to the ice. They get up with fist flying. So Marshall gets 2 minutes for high sticking, 5 minutes for fighting. Ferguson gets the major penalty for fighting at 11:42.
So again, the Leafs will have the man advantage. The minor penalty goes to Marshall, and it'll be served by Gillies of New York. Marshall, of course, as you just heard from Brian McFarland, has a major penalty along with Ferguson of the Maple Leafs.
And the team scoring the first goal has won 11 of the 13 games played so far in the playoffs, and the only 2 games where the losing team scored first. New York defeated Buffalo 4-3 in overtime. Detroit defeated Atlanta 3-2.
8 minutes, 11 seconds remaining in the first period. There is no score. The Islanders winning the first game Monday night, 4-1. And now the Leafs with a man advantage. Turnbull played it in with McDonald. McDonald on the boards in the corner to Maloney. Maloney gets it back to the point. Turnbull threw it back to him. It went by him. Back of the net. Resch stopped it. And it's cleared down the ice by Potvin. He got it through everybody. A minute and 30 seconds left in the minor penalty. Marshall. That's been served by Clark Gillies. 7:40 remaining in the first period, no score. And the Leafs with the man advantage. Coming up slowly is Salming. At center, he shoots it in on the boards. Resch again stopping it. That did a little trick or two on him. Back of the net, but the Islanders pick it up and clear it down the ice again. A good penalty-killing team, the New York Islanders. So far, the Leafs have been unable to get something dangerous going on this power play, and a minute left in it. Here's Sittler shooting it off the boards. They'll go in quickly now and try to force the Islanders into a mistake back there. Sittler has it in the corner. Got it loose for Maloney. He was bumped right away. Sittler comes in to help him. Sittler always coming up with that puck. Centered it. Here's the backhand shot. They score. It was Turnbull who got the pass from Sittler. And it's a power play goal. 1-0 Toronto.
So the Toronto Maple Leafs draw first blood here at the Nassau County Coliseum as Ian Turnbull playing well up on this man advantage opportunity as the Leafs shovel the puck along the boards and finally get it out into an area where they can get a shot away. Here's one shot. Turnbull flips a backhand just beyond the stick of Glenn Resch. 1-0 Leafs. Let's watch it from this angle as Turnbull, going to his backhand, just finds the corner. Sittler and Maloney will draw assists.
13 minutes and 3 seconds. The time of the goal, Turnbull. There it is, and it's 1-0 Toronto. But Sittler, you have to give full marks to Sittler on that play. He went in and dug it out from the corner and set it up. Now the Islanders down a goal. Shoot it into the Toronto zone, and it's Salming who has it again. Salming's pass to Ellis. Ellis with Sittler coming out to center ice, back to Ellis. Ellis gets the shot away. That was wide. Up the blue line, it was stopped by Glennie. But now, Bossy plays it to center. Mark Gillies rolled it over the leaf line, and Sittler is back against Bossy. Bossy centered it. Palmatier comes out to grab it. It was a bouncer, and he gloved it, and he held on. This Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from the Nassau Coliseum on Long Island. 6 minutes and 24 seconds remaining in the first period. Toronto 1, New York no score. Face-off of the lead zone. Trottier tied up on the face-off by Jones. Salming's pass comes from Glennie to Jones. Jones shoots it from center, off the boards, and Resch back there again. Covering up in the corner. Bossy was bumped right away by Williams. Hart for New York with Pearson. Now he starts out. Right in front of the net, the pass to Gillies at center ice. Gillies coming in. Across the line, he was stopped by Salming. A neat play by the Leaf defense. Hart waiting for Gillies to come back on side with Pearson. And it's Hart number 2 up to Bossy. Back to Hart again. Hart across center. Into Bossy. Bossy gets ready. He cuts for the net. From the corner, centered it. It hit a skate and bounced by Palmatier. Hart kept it in up the blue line. On the other side, Williams is there first. He and Bossy bumped together. Mark Gillies to Bossy for Hart. Hart took a shot. Palmatier stopped that. It's cleared by Trottier back to Hart again. Hart takes a shot. Now he lets it go. Cleared away. Williams ran into Potvin. Potvin around the goal. Potvin looking for someone free. And he had to drop it behind the net where Salming golfed at it. Penalty coming up to the Leafs. Here's a shot. Broken stick. The puck comes back to the blue line. Trottier. He took his shot, was blocked. New York net is empty. Now finally Palmatier grabs it. And the Maple Leafs coming up with a penalty for interference in front of the Leaf goal.
So we have the Tiger Williams in the penalty box for interference at 15:07. Leafs having a lot of trouble clearing Big Gillies out of that slot area, and Bossy was there causing trouble as well.
Now the Islanders with a man advantage. Kazicki is at center ice with Bourne on the left wing and Nystrom on the right side. Huttman back of the line gets the puck, took a shot, and that hit Jones. He's racing down against Pearson. Jones with Ellis catching up. Jones gets set. He doesn't shoot it. Gets it back to center ice to kill some time. The Leafs shorthanded and they hold it on the boards. No further play. With 4:39 remaining in this first period, Toronto up by a goal, 1-0. A minute 40 seconds left in Williams' penalty. It's cleared into the Maple Leaf zone. They're offside up the blue line, and it's called back.
We talked earlier about the team scoring the first goal having the best opportunity to win these playoff games, and home teams have also done well. Home teams have won 10 of the 13 games played so far. The only visiting teams to win: Toronto at Los Angeles, Philadelphia at Colorado, Detroit at Atlanta.
Palmatier getting up slowly. Adjusted his equipment, and he's ready again now. Face off outside the Leaf line. Knocked down the ice by Johansson. Potvin, one of the big leaders of this New York club, starts this power play rush. 1:25 left in the Leaf penalty. And it's Potvin playing it over. That's going to be offside. Nystrom was on the fly, but it was Kazicki across the line ahead of him.
Al Arbor had Bossy playing on this line very briefly in this hockey game, and it appears that he's reunited him now with Gillies and Trottier. That's been the big super unit of the Islanders all season long.
1:21 left in the Leaf penalty. Toronto 1, New York no score. 4:14 remaining in the first period. Up to center. Puckman knocked it down with his glove. Pearson, number 7, shoots it in. Here comes Trottier, but it's Salming clearing it out off the boards and down the ice. Resch comes out of the net, 15 feet or so. And now Puckman with a minute left for the Leaf penalty coming out. Puckman looking around, sets it up for Trottier. Trottier up across the line. No, he didn't get across it at first. Bossy had to come back on side. Now he played it over for Gillies. Gillies closing in. Gillies looks around. Handles it back to the blue line. Here's Pearson's shot. Gillies tipped it in. A great play by Stefan Pearson for Gillies. 1-1.
Pearson had such a great game the other night for the Islanders. And now this rookie defenseman from Sweden sets up the tying goal. Hardly hear yourself think in this arena right now. Gillies tucks it in behind Palmateer, just inside the post. Low along the ice. The Islander captain started the play over to Pearson as we watch it from this angle. Pass right to Gillies. Pretty play by the Islanders at 16:28 on the power play.
Pearson and Trottier got assists. Well, that was a great play by Pearson from the blue line. He didn't try to hit the net. He saw Gillies going for the hole and threw it in there. And Gillies, as you saw, just knifed it in behind Palmateer. 1-1 now.
Bob, we have 2 power play goals in the hockey game. First one by Turnbull from Sittler and Maloney, then Gillies from Pearson and Trottier, although they call him Trottier down here.
Okay, here's Jerry Hart. Up to Trottier at center. Trottier played it near the line. Gillies took a swipe at it, but McDonald has it. McDonald by Bossy. Rolled it in over the New York line. Out of the net is Resch. It's cleared into the corner. Now Gillies pokes it down the ice. This will be icing. As Turnbull goes back to touch it. Waiting for Gauthier to get back in position. The other linesman, here comes McDonald. He got that one a bit too high, and it went off the glass. A minute remaining in the period. Score tied, 1-1. It's cleared up near the New York line. Maloney was stopped, and it's Harris playing it on the right side for Merrick. He was taken out of the play by Maloney, and here's McDonald again. He's coming in. Look out for this one. And he really caught it hard, but it was wide. It's centered. Resch goes down. Scramble for it, and the goaltender has it somehow jammed outside the goal line.
My, oh my, what a shot that Lonnie McDonald has. In fact, Nystrom, who scored a picture goal here on Monday night, said, gee, if I could only shoot the puck like Lanny McDonald, what a hockey player I'd be. Close call there in the last minute of play here in the first period as Sittler drills one from a sharp angle. Resch goes down. Lanny is circling behind the net, and they cover up.
40 seconds remaining in the first period. The score tied. Islanders 1 and the Maple Leafs 1. Now just outside the rim of the circle, it's Harris and McDonald doing a lot of pushing. There they're back ready to go at it again. Look at that. Now they drop it in and it's called. They were out of position this time. Harris had moved up, but McDonald and Harris have that fencing going on. One trying to prevent the other from moving. Watch him now. Puck is dropped in. There's the push. No, it's not dropped in. Now it is. And it comes right back to Harris, so he did get away from McDonald. And cleared it up to center ice. McDonald went after Harris at the far side. Now McDonald is upended by Harris. They have their skates tangled. The Islanders outside the line with 20 seconds remaining. McDonald went after Bourne. And the Leafs come back out at Sittler with Salming. Salming going in. And I think they're offside. Yes, they're called. Look at McDonald go after Bourne now. I'll tell you, they're going to get this one going before very long. They really have something on the move.
Boy, Lanny McDonald had about 3 good hits in the last 12 seconds, and he finished it off by wrapping Bourne into the boards after Bourne had slammed Salming into the glass. McDonald, a very aggressive shift. Crowd all standing. Let's see if we can catch the start of that. Started, as you mentioned, Bob, on the face-off against Harris. They collided and banged each other about 4 times. Now watch out, Mr. Bourne. Here comes Lanny on the replay. Then Sittler put a headlock on Bourne.
Well, he's going off, Brian, Lanny McDonald. And now he has something to say to Andy Van Helleman, but he's going off for cross-checking and the stick-up. But as you pointed out, Brian, he had 2 or 3 shots out there.
Just
11 seconds left in the period. And McDonald is off.
Been an exciting first period here at the island. Tiger Williams telling me before the game, he said, tell all the folks out west that I'm on an island surrounded by sharks, but never fear the Tigers here. Of course, the Islanders have a lot of Western representation, too, on their roster, and they were all wondering if the game was national tonight and if the folks back home would be able to see them play. Of course they are.
And they're watching a whale of a second game of this quarterfinal series across the country. Glad you could be with us. 10 seconds remaining in the period. They were out of position. The puck was cleared into the New York zone, but they'll bring it back out to do it again just outside the New York line. They killed 2 seconds. 9 remaining now. Score tied, 1-1. Jones against Physicality. And it's Jones with a draw. Back to Salming. He just shoot it in. It's tipped in back to the net. And that's caught by number 5 running out the clock now as the horn goes to end the first period. And it was an exciting period of hockey. That's an old cliche, but it's true. Right here in Long Island, they came out fighting tonight, and they each came up with a goal in the first period. And so, the score at the end of period 1 is Toronto 1, the New York Islanders 1.
After a period, as Ian Turnbull opened the scoring, but Clark Gillies has tied the game. Both players with their first goals of the series and of the playoffs. Dan Maloney is our guest. Roger Nielson is behind the bench. At this point, Captain Video, I'm pretty sure, has been stapled gun to his moniker. Just an individual that lived, ate, breathed hockey 24 hours a day, all the time. You'd find him in the dressing room sleeping while he was getting a wink because he wanted to watch more video or do some preparation in that regard, so your team was extremely well prepared.
Extremely well prepared is a very good way of putting it, Joe. This guy, his penchant for work was second to none. Like, it was nothing for Roger to go 72 hours without sleeping and just go to work. And when you came to the game time, you were ready. And he'd have you not only ready with the video or with your practice, but he'd have you ready mentally. He'd have you there. And if you weren't there, you'd soon find out in a very mild way that he had, but it was very subtle. And certainly his preparation for us, and he liked tough defensive hockey, and that was his moniker, along with good goaltending, and pretty much that's the way this team was built.
Danny, I know in later years in Vancouver and things, when he would coach in other stops, he would hand out a sheet before each game, and the opposition, literally, it would be right down the list. So-and-so likes to go outside on a 2-on-1. So-and-so is left-handed if he was a fighter, so that if you were going in against him, you had to kind of watch that. Did he do that at this particular point yet?
He would have messages and notes for us, and certainly have the guy upstairs checking on the number of hits, where the shots were coming from, whether they were not shots, chances, whether they were good scoring chances, whether they were on the rush, whether they were on a power play, whether they were on a forecheck, whether they were on a turnover. So he had the game broken down, and he didn't make it complicated, but he was just as thorough as could be.
Now, you end up going behind the bench in a few years after this. Did much of what Roger did as a coach for you in Toronto be carried along with Dan Maloney as the coach himself?
Well, certainly everybody rubs off on you, and you know, Roger never erred on the side of caution. He was always prepared. Like, even with face-offs, we would meticulously study the other team's face-offs because he wouldn't want to give up a scoring chance off a face-off. And he had things, and he had everybody, whether they were playing a lot, who was on the bench, were a part of the game, part of the team, and he always had a way of keeping everybody involved. So the big thing, I guess what I could say that I learned from him was you know, you get your guys ready, and above all, have them in incredible condition, because Roger had this team we had here in super, super condition. He got us to the point when we come to the playoffs, he just kind of backed off and all that stuff, and we were just kind of like recouping and ready to go. So we were really ready that way too.
Now, he prompted some rule changes and pulled some stunts. In junior, you recall that when they pulled the goalie for 6 attackers, he had the goalie lay his goal stick down along the goal line to play goal while the goalie wasn't there. Anything come to mind that he might have tried to do as the National Hockey League arrived? Because he would go through that rule book and find something.
Oh, he'd be through the rule book. He'd be finding things. And certainly he was a great guy for matching lines. Great guy for matching lines. And I don't know whether he was one of the first guys to do it, but instead of 5 guys going out, there might be 6 or 7 go out, you know. And somebody might have an equipment problem on the way in or on the way out. But getting back to the guy, you know, using a forward, when I was first in junior and Roger was coaching the Peterborough Petes, and I was with the Toronto Marlies at the time before I went to London, Ontario, we were in Peterborough for an exhibition game, and it was just incredible. I'll never forget it. The guy here, Frankie Hamill, was a great little player for the Toronto Marlboros. Well, he gets a penalty shot. Well, lo and behold, Roger pulls the goalie and puts Ronnie Stackhouse in the net. A defenseman. So little Frankie could handle the biscuit. He came in there just going from side to side. Stacky comes up and just smokes him. Didn't try to stop it. He ran right over him. Frankie's going that way, and Stacky's coming this way. It was, I'll never forget as long as I live. That was a Roger.
And I think the next day the rule book was amended that the goalie has to stay in for all penalty shots.
Unbelievable.
Oh, you bet. Roger Nielson pulling the strings behind the Leaf bench. 1-1 at the end of one. You're watching Molson Canadian Maple Leaf Classics on LeafsTV. Gillies scores a power play goal to tie the game in the first period at 16:28, and it's the first power play, I think, in 28 opportunities in this series, going back through the playoffs against Los Angeles as well, that you gave up a power play goal. If there was one aspect, you mentioned defensive hockey, Roger really did work extremely hard on penalty killing, and he had some pretty good guys that he literally slotted into that area.
Well, certainly fellows like Jimmy Jones and Jerry Butler, and experienced guys like Ronnie Ellis, and you have Boria and Ian back there on the blue line with their other cast of defensemen. These guys, they took great pride in being the #1 in the league or very close to it in the penalty killing situation. And taking a look at the makeup and the ilk of our hockey team, penalty killing was needed. Because we took it.
I think I had it down here. What was it, 1,400 minutes? Yes, 1,489 in your career?
Well, Tiger took a few too.
Yeah, that's right, he did. Not all of them were majors.
No.
But you're right. And now when he did work on the penalty killing, it was aggressive.
Yes, it was always aggressive, always forcing the puck. You know, with a team like the New York Islanders, you cannot give them time. A guy like Michael Bossy out there, and certainly Brian Tracci and Big Clark, and they had 2 or 3 good lines they could just throw at you at will, and you had to be careful with them. So to keep them off guard, and you had a general back there like Dennis Potvin and Persson and all these guys, you had to really keep it on them. And Roger's credo was, you know, if you can kill off the penalties, you're going to take a few, but kill off the penalties, and we'll get 1 or 2 on the power play, or we'll get an even strength, and away we go. Like an even strength goal was a critical goal for our hockey team, because oftentimes in this era, especially against a team like this, you're going up against probably the best power play unit in the game.
Mm-hmm. And they were. Yeah. When you got into a situation like that, and Roger would utilize Butler and Jones a great deal, and they would force the puck in the offensive zone, really eating up a lot of time.
Yes, they really would. They wouldn't let them get the big machine in gear, shall we say, coming out of that defensive zone when they were attacking. And certainly it was a good thing, because the Islanders were known for a good forecheck as well as a good team on the rush. So to keep them off guard before they really got going, and certainly as the guys I mentioned before, like Dennis Potvin and Stefan Persson, these guys were the generals on that power play. And if they got in and got it set up, they could cause you lots of problems.
Funny how Roger remembered those guys from Peterborough, eh?
Yeah.
Jimmy Jones and that. I mean, remember, they learned in junior how to play his system.
Oh, for sure, yeah. His legacy, even when I was in junior, I was playing for London, Ontario. His teams come out and played the same way. They were prepared, they were tough, and they were good in the penalty kills. And
enjoy your 2-1 game.
There you go.
There you are. So it is a 1-1 tie here at the end of the first period because we're taking Dan Maloney, the rest of his teammates, back to April 19th, 1978. Game 2, Islanders Leafs quarterfinals. You're watching Molson Canadian Maple Leaf Classics on LeafsTV.
Here at the County Coliseum, the Nassau County Coliseum in Long Island, New York. Out of town, look at that. Chicago up 1 over Boston. Detroit and Montreal into a cliffhanger tonight so far. The Leafs are short-handed, so Salming shoots it down the ice. And they have 1:40 left in the penalty to Lanny McDonald of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Hotman up the line. Coming down, Trottier. He backhands it across the Maple Leaf blue line. Turnbull has control of it. No, he doesn't. It's cleared back near the line again. Trottier didn't see it. Here's a break at center for Butler. He's onside. Right in. Oh, what a play by Red on Jerry Butler. He had a lot of time, too, to think about it. Now Jones back in his own zone. The Leafs doing a great job killing this penalty. When you look at Jerry Butler getting that break, and Red coming up with a save. Down to center, Trottier had his pass hit his skate. Bossy left it for Pearson. The Leafs lining up across the line. Palmetier couldn't move on it. It's center. And it hit a stick in time to get it away from Bossy. Now Pearson comes in, shoots. That's deflected in front, and Butler takes it back into the corner around his own net. Butler shoots it out to center. And we have 35 seconds left in the lead penalty. This is Bossy stepping it over the line. Bossy gets set. He can really shoot it. Rolled it in front of the net. Turnbull got his stick in the way and cleared it. 22 seconds left in McDonald's penalty. And he's standing up with the penalty bench. Quite anxious as the Islanders pour in again. It's a pass to Nystrom. Nystrom into the corner. Nystrom went after it back of the net. Still after it in the corner. Salming couldn't take it away. Here's the pass for Pearson. Pearson shoots it off the board. Stanley laid it ahead for Maloney. McDonald is back on. And McDonald a two-man break with Sittler. Coming down. Here's Sittler. And a great save again by Red. Sittler centered it. Bourne coming out. The Leafs are at full strength now. McDonald is back on. Here's Maloney coming in. Digging to the corner. Maloney is stopped. But there's Sittler ever present. Oh, at the blue line. Oh, another save by Red from Salming. The Leafs really alive in the early going of the second period. Now here's Maloney. Another big save by Red. He's keeping the Islanders in the game, and a penalty coming up now to Pearson of the New York Islanders. From the Nassau Coliseum on Long Island, this is Stanley Cup 78.
Stephen Pearson called for holding at 2:27. He held Maloney right here, but the Leafs came out flying to start this second period and had 2 or 3 outstanding scoring opportunities.
Score tied, 1-1. The Maple Leafs now at the center ice. They have the man advantage. Turnbull back to his own blue line with McDonald. He's on with Sittler, Williams, and Maloney. Here's Williams missing it. He didn't see the pass until it was too late. Henning went after it, but McDonald tipped it ahead for Williams. Henning again took it away from him and shot it down the ice. 1 minute 30 seconds left in the New York penalty. To step at Pearson. Henning watching Turnbull out with McDonald. Here's McDonald. Across center, he shoots it in by Harris. And Hart is back first. Hart was bumped. Williams went after it. So did Harris. And Maloney cleared it right to Henning goal. And Henning comes back to center ice. He'll try to rag it in there between the two blue lines. Henning going in over the line. And Palmetier made a good move with his stick and chopped it away. McDonald back for Toronto. McDonald played it into Sittler. He couldn't control it. Hart tipped it ahead. A break for Henning. He can't get up to it. Palmetier in the corner. Shoots it the other way. Back of the net. McDonald has it. For Turnbull. Look out for Billy Harris. He steals it to Henning. And Henning got his skate on it and couldn't get the stick near the puck. That close call. The Leafs on the power play. Down to center Maloney. High one. Grabbed by Red. Right, kept it to the side of the net, and now Billy Harris trying to move it out. They hold it on the board. And now they get the whistle for a face-off in the New York Islanders zone.
Wow, the story of this period so far, the penalty killing of Butler and then Henning. Henning having two good chances against Palmateer. Watch this one as Henning comes through. He'll take a shot, number 10, Lorne Henning. And the stop by Palmateer, and he almost lost the rebound. The Islander moving in, he battered it away. And at the other end, moments earlier, Butler raced in all alone, also shorthanded, and Rush was able to stop him.
Mike Palmateer in goal for Toronto Maple Leafs. Moments ago, coming up with a big save, clearing the rebound. Probably the best part of that play as far as Palmateer was concerned. The Leafs trying to keep it in, and they do. Ellis ran into his man on the boards. Solving in the center ice area, looking for Boutet to his left, gives it to Turnbull instead. He shoots it on the board. Here comes Ellis. Lewis stopped him. It's kept in by Weir. Weir back to Salming. Salming doesn't shoot it. Out Salming again. Poked into the corner. Lewis after it. The Islanders' penalty is over. We're at full strength. There's Ellis around the net to Boutet. Right in front of Weir. Weir, Boutet. And Glenn Wright has blitzed again. Come up fighting with a big save in the New York goal. Chico Rex, he's been outstanding in the first 4.5 minutes of the second period. Score is tied, 1-1. 4:37 gone in the second period. Ellis chopped at it and went crazily off to the corner. And now Putman. He was bumped before he could make a move. Finally gets it back to Lewis. And he was charged right in front. And Boutet didn't see him. The Islanders, three of them break out to center. This is Pache going in with Bourne. Bourne right in on goal. Oh! And he missed the far corner. Great play by the Islanders. Back for the Leafs, and Boutet is after it. He'll shoot it from there. And it was deflected up over the goal. Pache on the boards. Bourne didn't get the pass. Kept in by Jones. On the boards the other way. Boutet gets a chance. Back to Glenny. Back for Boutet. Boutet centered it. And it's Bourne coming away. Bourne gets down to center ice. Bourne up over the line, trying to split the defense. He tried to whip it in as he fell, but couldn't reach it. Great action again here in the second period. Here's Boutet swinging out for Toronto. Nearing the 6-minute mark, it's tied 1-1. The long shot stopped by Red. And this is Physicality back in the net, dropping it there for Putman. Putman moved away from Hart, the other defenseman for New York. Now it passed it ahead. Physicality was bumped by Salming, and they get a whistle inside the Toronto blue line.
Chico Rex was just outstanding in this second period. Before the game tonight, we asked Chico if he was surprised that the Islanders played so well after their 8-day layoff in Game 1.
Well, anytime you come off an 8-day layoff, you really don't know what to expect. But I would have to say everybody, right from Mr. Torrey Arbor on down, was very pleased with our first period, and generally the entire game I thought the defense played very well. We really only made maybe 2 mistakes, and if we can minimize our mistakes to 2 a night, I think we'll go a long way in the playoffs.
Well, Bob, he's one man who's doing his best to minimize those mistakes tonight.
Well, he hasn't made very many. We've seen Chico Resch at his very best here in the second period. They're having a little difficulty with that gate at the Leaf bench. The linesman, look at this. That's Gerard Gauthier, along with Matt Pavlich. The carpenter is Gauthier, hammering away. They cannot continue until they have that squared away.
No, that could be dangerous. Well, not only could a puck strike that and deflect and cause a breakaway or something of that nature, but it could be dangerous for a player. And not only that, it'd be very difficult to make line changes. They'd have to hop over the boards. So while we have this delay, let's take a look at the scoreboard again. Chicago leading Boston 3-2. Makita, Hicks, and Murray for the Blackhawks. Marcotte and Cashman for the Bruins. They're in the third period now. And Montreal playing Detroit tonight at the Forum in Game 2. We have no scoring there yet. When we do get a goal scored, we will bring it to you on this telecast during a stop and play here. Bob, I understand one of those teams from Newfoundland did a great job at the World Old Timers hockey tournament recently.
Oh, yes, we're very proud of the Conception Bay Seabees. A team that was born in a little place called Harbour Grace in Newfoundland, population of about 4,000. They came back with a championship from the World International Old Timers in Copenhagen, Denmark, and we congratulate them just recently. This is Stanley Cup 78 from the Nassau Coliseum on Long Island. The 7-minute mark of the second period. The New York Islanders and Toronto Maple Leafs hooked up in a big one here tonight on Long Island, New York. Maloney gets that return pass from Lenny and goes to center with it. Away from Merrick. He backhands it into the New York zone. And it's Dennis Potvin again. Nice pass from Merrick on the left wing. Howard, and on this side, this is Harris. Harris is bumped on the board by Lenny. And the Leafs bring it back out. Maloney. The Leafs finally catch up to Maloney. He's going in. Now Sittler nearly got through, but Potvin stopped him. A good defensive play. Harris on the other side for Howard. Howard cutting in. And he was bumped by Lenny and spun around. And the Leafs McDonald coming back out with Maloney and Sittler. Sittler couldn't move it. He was covered. And they hold it on the board at the New York blue line. Okay. Inside the line, New York coming out. It's Hart to center. Hart takes the shot, shots up to the fence. Unpairing on his puncher. He let it go. And it's cleared right away out on the right side. Ellis poked at it. Ellis was stopped, but Sittler lost control of it near the New York blue line. Now Bossy back to center ice. He's jammed out of it by Lenny. Pearson drops it back to center. Here's Gillies and Bossy. And Bossy is offside. The pass went behind him. A sharp call by Hamlet, the linesman.
Let's go to the Montreal Forum now and see what's happened there.
Montreal still with the odd man advantage with Lafleur over the line. Here's Lafleur taking a look. Over to Lafoy.
I think referee Bruce Hood pointed in the direction of Larry Robinson.
It was a deflection off of Robinson. He was in the right spot, right on the right-hand side of that net. Nice.
Again, here on Long Island in New York, the score tied 1-1, and here's Sittler coming out. Sittler, the pass down to Ellis. Ellis going in. Took the shot, and Rush grabbed it, and again, the goaltender hangs on to it.
Marty Ellis played all 80 games for the Leafs this year, scored his 300th goal, and then got 2 more for a little bonus. 26 goals, the 4th high of his career. His 52nd playoff game. What a comeback he made. Candidate for the Masterton Trophy. Played on the Leaf Cup winner in '67. That was the year Imlac's Old Timers took on the Montreal Canadiens. Centennial year, and in an upset, won the Stanley Cup.
Oftentimes, when we're on the road like this with our telecast, we run into minor technical difficulties, and we're having a little problem with the audio right now. We're working on it. We hope to have it overcome very shortly. Score is tied. It's 1-1, nearing the 9-minute mark of the second period. Long shot in by Hart off the boards. Look out for Nystrom, but it's chopped away by Paul Matier. Coming back for the Leafs, Salming racing to center. Salming in with Maloney. Maloney to Salming to Maloney. Maloney took a shot, and it hit the side of the net off Resch. Nearly caught the corner around the post.
Looked for just a second as though it might have gone off the skate and into the net, but it stayed on the outside as Maloney teamed up with Salming. First it was back to Salming, back into Maloney, and from the side now, Resch kept his right leg right there, and the puck stayed on the webbing on the outside of the post. Larry Robinson scored the Montreal goal as the Canadiens take a 1-0 lead over Detroit at the Forum tonight in their second game. Resch was telling me about Maloney before the game. He said, you really have to watch him, especially when the Leafs have the power play, because he'll drift right into the goal area, and he said if one of my players touches him, then it looks like that's a legal play. I've told my defenseman to let him go, so that if he gets into my crease, any goal that would scored would be disallowed.
Now, face off to the left, or rather to the right of Resch. Here's a quick shot. This one will go up into the crowd behind the New York goal. It's waited probably a second too long, and Nystrom put his stick away. Another souvenir for this big crowd. at the Coliseum on Long Island. My, they're great hockey fans here. They roar and shout from the moment they come into the building. And they're watching a dandy tonight. The Leafs and the Islanders tied at a goal. 11:10 remaining in the second period. Nice group. Up the Islanders bench for a new stick. Here he comes. Number 23. He played a great game on Monday night.
Oh, having a good playoff. He went 0 for 12 in the games last year.
Hot man. Fooled Weir a couple of times. He'll have to do it again, and he did. He comes across the line to center. Hot man. He's playing on the wing. Here's Bourne. He took the shot away wide. And the Leafs. Williams coming back out to center ice. Williams let go a high one. Blocked by Rett. He flipped it off to the corner. Weir covered his man, Hutman. Turnbull couldn't stop it at the line. And the Leafs had to come back. This is Johansson. Bourne after him. They slide into the boards. Johansson looking for it. Playing his first playoff here in the National Hockey League. Physicality touches it and a Tyson call against the Toronto Maple Leafs. They saw to the left of Paul Mateer. Nearing the halfway mark of the second period. Here's Turnbull. Turnbull coming to center, and he can really move it. He played it in off the board. Frank stopped it for Lewis. Lewis had some trouble. Bouquet watching him, couldn't stop him. Now Bouquet racing after it against Hotman. Hotman got away from him neatly. Hotman coming out again, leading the impact from the Islanders to the center. He shoots it in and wide of the Leaf goal, and Johansson was back very quickly. Johansson around the net, a long pass, went by Pearson down the ice. No icing will be called this time. Pearson got away from Bouquet, fell down, got back up again. Now Bouquet has it back of the net, centered it, and it's stopped by Harris and he's away. Here's Harris coming down with Merrick. Merrick has the pass back to Harris. Harris slides on the front, and it's chopped away by Paul Mateer. The Leafs come back out again. Turnbull one man back. Turnbull going in. Turnbull left it for Butler, and Butler covered by Pearson. They both go flying to the ice. Butler and Pearson, they come up quickly. They go straight on, and it's out over the line for Harris. Harris shoots a long one. Paul Mateer stopped that and passed it off to Maloney. Islanders chasing on the goal. Maloney slow getting away. Shoots it down the ice. Hart for New York. Roche with Bossy and Gillies. Pass to Gillies, hit a stick, and he couldn't get any further from the line. It's cleared back where Hart has control. 8:50 remaining in the second period. It's a 1-1 tie at this point of the hockey game. And down for Gillies, bumped by Salming. It comes loose. Maloney was given a jolt. Maloney comes up with a puck ball, gets the back of the net. Here's Salming coming out. Salming out across his own blue line. Played it up to McDonald, and he shoots it in. That's stopped by Red easily. Hotman hooked it away from Bossy. Bossy, look out. He was smashed by McDonald. Bossy built it hard at the blue line by Benny. Fiddler centered it and went behind Maloney. Bossy couldn't move it out. Here's Bossy stopped by Maloney. Maloney shoots it in. I'll tell you, it's been a while since we've seen action like this. They're really laying it on. At center ice, Benny back to his own defense. Salming up to center. Here's Williams. But he's offside, and it's all back. With the score, the New York Islanders won. Toronto Maple Leafs won. This is Stanley Cup 78. 8 minutes remaining in the second period. The score is tied, 1-1. And listen to the fans here at the Coliseum on Long Island in New York. Lenny for the Maple Leafs. Back of the net, Salming. He was stopped in the corner. They get a whistle. Apparently, Brian, we're still having some difficulty with the audio from New York. And as I said before, they're working on it.
Well, that is unfortunate because the din that's being set up here in the Nassau County Coliseum is incredible at the moment, and it's been spectacular action, and the crowd really reacts to it.
That's Johansson. Couldn't clear it. Right in on goal. Goes Bourne, and that's twice that Bourne has had a very dangerous rush on Paul Mateer in this hockey game.
Two evenly matched clubs in Game 2 of this series. Paul Mateer pending goal for the Leafs, intending it very well tonight. Resch equally brilliant at the other end. Here's the play again. The shot right up into Paul Mateer's pads, and we're looking right through the hole in the glass where the photographer will often put his lens and get some good action shots.
There's the attendance for tonight, 15,317. And that's usually the case here on Long Island. Jammed house. Here's a backhand shot by Kazicki. That's blocked. Another shot, and the Leafs have to hurry it down the ice. Turnbull from his knees cleared it. And this is Price back to touch it. And it's icing against Toronto.
Kazicki's walking over that play with referee Andy Van Helleman. The officials doing a good job here tonight. While Bourne scored 30 goals in the regular season, there's another player they picked up from Kansas City in a trade. They gave up a couple of players they weren't going to use much anyway. And he could have been a pro baseball player. He signed with Houston. So did Big Gillies at one time.
Okay, they're set to go to the right of Paul Mateer. The Leafs this time shoot it as far as center. Williams trying to break in on Price. Williams gets set with the brakes on. Nobody with him though. And Price tied him up effectively before he could make a play. To Ellis, who was catching up. There's Ellis now trying to dig it out from the corner. Williams missed Price for the check. Here's nice cut back to the center of Kazicki. Kazicki takes the shot. Get around Johansson. Kazicki dropped it right there for Marshall. Closing in. Scramble. And again, Paul Mateer went down to make a great play on Pat Price. This Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from the Nassau Coliseum on Long Island.
Mike Paul Mateer makes another great save, this time on Pat Price, number 3, taking the pass and drilling it all in one motion at the Leaf netminders.
Paul Mateer very sharp on that play. His Price was right in on top of him, as you saw. Now the Leafs. Getting it out is Johansson to center ice. Johansson hooked the high one into the corner. And Potvin has it to the right of his own net. Merrick up for Harris. Harris tried to set up Merrick again, but it's stopped by Bouquet and Ferguson. Then cleared in where Turnbull goes back of the net. Here he comes in front of the goal. Now Merrick ran into his man. Johansson for the Leafs. Get it out to the center ice area. Potvin shoots it back in. Islanders seem to be coming on strong now. Like a crazy bounce on the boards. Came back straight. Now Potvin. For Lewis, up to Merrick. Merrick had a little trouble. Getting away from Howard, standing right in front of him. Here's Potvin. Up over the line is Dennis Potvin. He took the shot to Merrick. Merrick was covered by Johansson. Paul Mateer whipped at it. Got it out to Turnbull. The Leafs coming out with Ferguson. He's down over the line. Ferguson was jolted and couldn't get a play in on the net. Harris shoots it back of his own goal and hopped away from Bouquet. Now Potvin's knocked down. Bouquet fell along with him. And Lewis down with Merrick. Merrick to Harris. Harris goes by Glennie and lost the puck. And back for Sittler coming in. Here's Sittler going for the net. And he took the shot from the short side. And there was Resch again grabbing it. He took it off the boards as it was centered. The Islanders lead the series, winning Monday night 4-1. They lead the series 1-0. And the Leafs trying to tie the best of 7 right here before it shifts back to Toronto for the next 2 games. Arch pass to Harris. He was stopped right away. Sittler took a shot, and that's blocked by Resch. Sittler went after it again. Outside the line it comes. Solving back to Glennie. Glennie up for McDonald. He knifed it in, and Harris checking on that line. Cleared it to center ice. Solving being watched by Gillies. Hit Maloney neatly. He dropped it for McDonald. And that shot again was way up high on the glass. Sittler trying to knock it loose. Back to the net. They hold it. Pearson lost it. And it comes back where Harris was standing in front of the goal. And he cleared it. Look out. Then he ran into his man heavily up the blue line. Dropped it. Now Now Harris tried to break in, and he was stopped. Pearson waits for Harris to come out, and he hands it to Salming, who gave it to Maloney. He missed it. Pearson, a pass ahead to Trache. Trache into Gillies. Here's Bossy for the net. Oh! And he couldn't make contact in front of the goal. Bossy was flying in. Here's McDonald, another hard shot, and again wide of the New York net. It ends up in the mesh behind the goal, and the play is called.
Got 4:12 to play in the second period. We're still in a 1-1 tie here at the Nassau County Coliseum. What a hockey game.
Face off now in the center ice area. Weir in for Turnbull. Turnbull faked the shot, threw it up on the glass. It goes back to Lewis. Kazicki's pass went down the ice for Bourne. Coming in is Nystrom. Here's Nystrom on the right side. And the shot was right on. Palmatier grabbed it and he covered up. He covered the angle beautifully on Nystrom, who was really cutting for the net.
Palmatier seemed to give just a little bit of a jiggle with his body. Maybe he was trying to con Nystrom into going for the short side. At any rate, he just covered it beautifully, as you say, and took the puck right in his body. Good stop by Palmatier.
Palmatier having a good night this evening. Here's a chance for Lewis. Oh, and Palmatier got his left arm on that one. Hard shot by Lewis from just inside the line. Nystrom let it go, and Palmatier again covered up as the puck was skipping in toward him. 3 minutes and 42 seconds remaining in the second period. The score is tied, 1-1.
Goaltenders hate to see that kind of a puck coming at them. The puck was deflected a bit by Turnbull, and as you say, skipped and bounced along, and those slow bouncers sometimes go right through you somehow.
There it is, all on the big board at center ice here at the Nassau Coliseum on Long Island, New York, as Bob Bourne has had a couple of great scoring opportunities tonight. Lines up directly in front of Palmatier. There's the draw. Nystrom took a high shot. He hooked it really, and it went way up high over the glass.
Bourne had 2 points on Monday night. Made quite an impression. He was a high school football star. Kindersley, Saskatchewan, and his quarterback was Dave Lewis. He used to catch the passes.
Turnbull for Toronto. 3:35 remaining of the second period. Score tied 1-1. From center, it's Nystrom. He got away from Turnbull. Williams went after him and checked him hard into the corner. Nystrom tried to tie up the Leaf defenseman Johansson, but could not. Bourne dropped it back to Potvin. Up to Nystrom on the other wing now. Back for Kazicki. He dropped it neatly. Lewis, a weak shot, and that was wide. They keep it in. Potvin took a drive. And that went off Palmatier's shoulder. A hard shot by Potvin. Just inside the line, they pile in on the boards. It comes loose, though. No whistle. And it's cleared down the ice by the Maple Leafs. They've been called for icing when Potvin gets back with 2:48 remaining in the second period. And they're lining up for a face-off to the right of Palmatier. There's Al Arbor, back of the New York Islanders bench. Not having it quite so easy tonight. At this point on Monday, he was leading 3-0, but it's 1-1 now, and the Leafs trying to move it down was solving. It was tipped near center ice, and there's where it ended up.
Well, you saw Howie Meeker under intermission, and it was 31 years ago tonight that Toronto defeated Canadians 2-1 at Toronto to win the Stanley Cup for the first of what was to be 3 straight years. Ted Kennedy scored the game winner at 14:39 of the third. Howie Meeker assisted on both Leaf goals.
2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the second period. Howie's thinking back. That's a long time ago, Howie. Getting old. They're not getting old here as Salming moves in. Took a drive. That was stopped right in front of the net. Howard behind the goal. Dropped it there. Into the corner, Hart. Shoots it around this way for Harris. He was bumped by Bouchette. Lenny waits outside the line, throws it back, and Salming has to go back for it. 2 minutes remaining in the second period. Salming tied up by Merrick in forechecking. Now Lenny on the right side. Butler couldn't move it out. The Islanders put some pressure on now, and they can't keep it in on this rush. Pearson slapped at it. Salming will hustle for this one along with Butler. Comes back to Hart. Hart in front to Harris. He was stopped, and the Leafs dump it out to center. 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining in the second period. In off the boards, it went high over Denny's head, but it was called at the blue line offside. Here it is, and the Leafs have to come back. 1:25 remaining in the second period. Anybody's game tonight. The score is tied 1-1. Nystrom picking it up. Nystrom in the corner in front of the net. Scramble for it, and Gillies had it go off his stick to the corner, and again they hold it. And finally a whistle. You got the goal scorers from Montreal.
Larry Robinson and Ivan Cournoyer put Montreal in front of Detroit 2-0 as we look at Clark Gillies, and we'll take another quick look at the scoreboard here. Chicago and Boston 3-3 now as Middleton has scored for the Bruins. They're in the third period. Philadelphia still leading Buffalo 3-2 in the second. Schoenfeld has scored for the Buffalo Sabres. McLeish for the Philadelphia Flyers.
Okay, 1:10 remaining in this second period. The Leafs and the Islanders into a dandy tonight. Here's Lewis coming in. Lewis lost it, and Maloney comes out with McDonald. Here's Maloney across the line. He goes. Took the shot. It was deflected by Huntman. McDonald centered it. It came through the crease. Less than a minute remaining in the second period. Pache down to Gillies, but he was going off on a change. Didn't see the pass. Pache again. Up to Nystrom, and he was belted by Lenny. They both fall at the blue line. Palmetier way out of the net. He cleared it up on the boards. Nystrom went in and couldn't stop it. Potvin pass to Bourne. Shot. Rebound. And it's cleared away. Islanders keep the pressure on, and here's Turnbull playing it out over the line for Maloney. 25 seconds left. Maloney's pass to McDonald. He gets a drive. And a good save again by Resch on the short side. McDonald really testing Resch. Sittler kept it in with 13 seconds remaining in the period. Potvin has control, though, on the other side. He played it to the blue line for Bourne. Time for one more drive. It's right on. And it was stopped by Palmetier. And there's the horn to end the second period. What a hockey game tonight. This second game of a best-of-7 quarterfinals between the New York Islanders and the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Dan Maloney with us. Do you remember going in as a rookie to the Chicago general manager and telling him you'd score 50?
I didn't tell him how long it would take me, but I told him sooner or later I'd get to 50.
That took a lot of gumption for a young man like Michael Bossy, who wasn't the first pick overall.
He was number 2 for the Islanders overall, and certainly coming into the game, he probably had one of the best set of hands that the game has ever seen. I mean, his numbers aren't deceiving. They're for real, and they can say, oh, he played on a great line, great team, 50 goals was 50 goals in any man's league, and to do it 9 years in a row and almost do it for the 10th year is absolutely remarkable.
Danny, a lot of players come in with a signature move, and then other people will copy it or try it and do things like that. Do you remember anyone before Mike Bossy who was as good or tried it as often, the one-timer? That pass that was slid over and he one-timed it without stopping it and cradling it.
Yeah, well, he was a gifted guy. When you say you have great hands, everybody thinks he's got his grip on there like you wouldn't believe, but that stick was just sitting there. And, Mike could shoot it from his feet. He could shoot it from out here. I've seen guys lift him off his feet and he'd still be able to shoot the puck. I mean, if you ever go down through all his goals, I know some of them he came in and he would shoot the puck at the goalie. You think the goalie was getting out of the way. He made it look so easy. Honest to goodness, he could put the puck wherever he wanted, and one of his real signature shots was to put it in the bend of a goalie's arm, because he can't move his shoulder down to get it, and he can't put his hand up to get it here. So you being a goalie, you could nose that right through here, and it'll be in.
Yeah. Now, when you're playing against him, did Roger spend any extra time in the pregame assessment or the preparation for this series? How do we handle this youngster?
Well, certainly the big line of Gillies, Trottier, and Bossy Gillies being the great big grinder who could score goals, just a big powerful guy and a good hockey player, Hall of Famer. And then Brian was a great playmaker, but the trick of the day was if Bossy gets it, you better be ready. And certainly Palmy was aware of that, and it was very important that he played as well as we did. But the matter of thing was the plays that Roger wanted us doing most of all was when Botvan was on the ice, he always got the puck, and you had to go and you had to take him out. And same thing with Mike, you know. He was there, you take him out, you take him out, you take him out. And, you know, it wasn't like guys were fouling him or slashing him or hitting him with a heavy stick. They were just hitting him hard. And over a course of a long series, it definitely takes its toll.
Not many times you see on the blackboard, don't hit this guy, he likes it.
Yeah, that's right.
So I'm sure that if you're going to intimidate somebody, and this was an era where intimidation was a very useful tool, and it was used by more than the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Flyers were pretty near built around it.
Oh, it certainly was, and the Flyers were always a very tough team, and this Islander team had played the Flyers many times, and they certainly knew the Flyers as well as Toronto. Toronto played the Flyers several times, and certainly to go out and play against these teams, if you were going to win the game, it wasn't because you were going to get shoved around. I mean, if you're going to be out there, you had to be ready to protect yourself, protect the players you're playing with, and certainly, you know, do what you do best, and if it means taking a good hit or giving a good hit, you had to do that.
All right, Mike Bossy leading the New York Islanders. The Leafs and Islanders tied 1-1 after 2 periods of play. You're watching Molson Canadian Maple Leaf Classics on Leafs TV. One tie at the end of 2. It's April 19th, 1978. Leafs and Islanders, quarterfinals of the Stanley Cup playoffs. You're watching Molson Canadian Maple Leaf Classics on Leafs TV.
And here we go, starting the third period. The Islanders push it in. The teams at full strength. Into the corner, the Islanders get it loose. Bossy, always dangerous. Got a shot away, a weak one, mind you, but nevertheless, from that distance, he is very dangerous, this young man.
Toronto, the only club he did not score on throughout the regular season. Imagine scoring 53 goals and not getting one against any of the 18 clubs. But he picked up one Monday night, his first goal of the year against the Leafs. Lanny McDonald led the club in goals.
And the face-off now to the left of Paul Mateer. Hutbank took a shot. That was screened. Bossy went after the rebound. Sittler knocked it loose. And Maloney straight up the ice to center. He played it right on the skates of Hutbank. Gillies missed the pass. Now McDonald had trouble at the blue line. Sittler will move it. But right onto the Islanders' sticks again. Gillies dropping it back. Hutbank turning around near center. He was knocked down by Sittler. Hutbank back on his feet into his own zone. Long pass went by McDonald. Gillies has to wait now. He rolled it to Bossy. Bossy gave it to Hutbank. Good play. Sittler after him. And Glennie ran into the Islander. Hutbank at the blue line. Here's Salming back for Toronto. Played it into Sittler. Sittler went after it around Hart. Sittler couldn't get it loose though. And it's Hutbank again down to Bossy. Bossy, the little winger, down to center ice. Up over the line, he has to come back again. Merrick was offside had he gone in. Now McDonald for Toronto. A neat pass for Salming going in. Salming winding up. And the high shot went off the glass. Hard into the corner. He was bumped by Jones. Merrick goes in to help. So does Boutet. And they get a whistle in the New York zone.
Glenn Rashkin's out to have a chat with Jerry Hart. Hart, a gourmet cook. He was claimed in the 72 expansion draft from the Detroit Red Wings.
1 minute and 31 seconds gone in the third period. The score is tied, 1-1. Second game of the best-of-7 quarterfinal. The Islanders winning the first game Monday night 4-1. The Leafs battling back in this one, trying to even it before they go to Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto for Friday night. It's fired in on the board, back of the net. Rex stopped it, and the Islanders pick it up quickly. This is Hart from the corner. A long pass went off a stick, but down the ice it goes. It'll be icing, yes. Turnbull has it, and it's icing against the New York Islanders. From the Nassau Coliseum on Long Island, this is Stanley Cup 78. Roar from the crowd into overtime, and Boston, Chicago, and Boston 3-3. There it is on the big scoreboard over center ice. So there's great hockey in the National Hockey League all over the place tonight. Bourne out to the center with Scott. Ware battling for it, couldn't reach it. Marshall played it ahead on the left side, and Turnbull back in his own zone. Here's Williams starting up. Out over the line he comes. Tiger Williams at center ice. Lobbed along one end wide. Resch couldn't reach it. And it's cleared back to the net. Marshall covered on Ellis. Now Bourne had trouble with it. Ellis bumped him. The Islanders coming out. This is Physicality pass to Price. Can't control it. Chopped away by Turnbull. Now Marshall slapped it on the board. Physicality closing in. A pass to Bourne. Ready! Bourne! Third time tonight. He's had an opportunity, and now he comes through for New York.
Well, you know what they say, 3 times lucky, although there was skill involved on that one. Bourne, the Islanders off the bench. There's a tremendous racket now at the Nassau County Coliseum. Let's see this play develop. Here's the pass through. Bourne, number 14, makes a little move here. Palmatier starts to go down. He got a piece of it. Oh, so close to making the save. Palmatier got a bit of the puck. It was up, and it trickled in, and the Islanders take the lead. 2-1, goal by Bourne. 3:24. Bob Bourne, his first in the playoffs. And they've gone wild here at the Coliseum on Long Island as the Islanders take a 2-1 lead here in the third period. Here's a shot by Maloney, and that was shot by Resch. Now Lewis coming out for New York. Here's Gillies at center ice. Gillies does good move. He played it in front. Jay McDonald after him. Gillies to the side of the net. Touching the Bossy. And Bossy was stopped by Palmatier. I'll tell you, that's Palmatier's biggest save of the hockey game on Bossy. He was right in on top of him. Following the goal by Bourne, Palmatier drops his stick, and without the stick in his hand, makes a big save on Mike Bossy.
Now we're set to go. Face off to the left of Palmatier. Hot by winds up. Shoot! Oh, Palmatier stopped that. It went high off the glass on the rebound. Now Benny is bumped hard back to the net by Cloutier. He's a tough customer. Benny was, or rather Sidler was bumped as he crossed the line. Wide in a cut man. Oh, look out! McDonald ran into Gillies. And now Maloney shoots one in for Toronto. McDonald after that. The Leafs fighting hard to try to get back on even terms now. Jones ran into Cloutier. And the Islanders have to shoot it down the ice to relieve the pressure, and that's icing against New York. Ferguson comes on again to play at center ice for Toronto. Boutet on the right wing. And Belichick on the left side. Belichick back to the net, couldn't stop it. Harris coming out with Merrick getting the pass. Merrick lobbed it over for Hart. Jerry Hart shoots it in. And Boutet, number 15 for Toronto, played it behind the net. Belichick stopped by Merrick. Here's Turnbull sliding it up and led by Ferguson. Down to the right of the goal. Pearson is back, and that's icing all against Toronto. So, with 15:01 remaining in the third period, it comes back into the lead zone as you see Roger Nielson talking it over with Darryl Sidler of the Leaf bench. Sidler getting up. He seems to be hurt a little bit. Taken up on a check at center ice on his last shift. Now the Leafs trying to clear it. Johansson got it out to center ice. Howard for Merrick coming in with Harris. Harris made a good move to go over there to get that pass. Then he got away from Belichick's check. Back to the net. Howard going in. Howard can't get it loose. They're holding on the board. Now Howard has it. And he lost it to Turnbull for Belichick. Belichick out over the line. And it's stopped by Hart. Knocks it back. Pearson slides it ahead. Harris looking around. Gives it to Jerry Hart again. Hart for Pearson coming out. for Merrick. It went by and tipped in by Johansson. The Islanders are changing now as the play goes on, and this is Valaket coming out of the lead zone. Up for Turnbull. Howard caught him as he went by him. Marshall for Howard. One man back. Howard waiting for someone to catch up. A weak shot, and here's Knight from after it. He was stopped by Bouchette. Coming out is Turnbull. Good stick-handling move around Howard. Turnbull to center. Turnbull going in. Tries to go around to a fence. Back to the net. Center it! And it's cleared by Nystrom. Weir stopped it though. Marshall went after it. West scoops it away to the board. Here's Stanley winding up. Penalty coming up against New York. And Nystrom gets possession till the whistle goes. And the New York Islanders getting a penalty here. Had Price going off. This is Stanley Cup 78 from the Nassau Coliseum on Long Island. Price in the penalty box. 6:17, the time of that penalty to the New York Islanders. And it comes with the Islanders leading the Toronto Maple Leafs 2-1. We're in the third period at the Nassau Coliseum on Long Island. Okay, now we're set to go with the Leafs. The man advantage, Sittler, Williams, McDonald, Salming, and Turnbull. The big guns are on there now to try to clash for Toronto. It comes to Salming. Salming slips it in for Turnbull. Back to the net for McDonald. McDonald stops. Now McDonald again. Couldn't stop Huckman. Turnbull kept it in. McDonald slaps at it. Back to the net he goes. McDonald around the goal. Big lock by Lewis. Gets it back to Turnbull. And his shot was deflected right to the net. Harris whipped it out over the line and down the ice. Almater stopping it. Here's Salming coming back. 1 minute, 30 seconds left for the Islanders penalty. This is Williams down to center. Williams to Sittler. Sittler trying to stick handle in. Williams gets in on a bad angle now. Can't shoot it. Salming stopped it with his glove at the blue line. Waits for a moment. Looks around for a good opportunity. Now Sittler let it go. And that was a good 3 feet off the net far side. Turnbull at the line with Salming. Shooting! The rebound! Oh! McDonald missed a great chance. Here's McDonald again. Shoots a hard one. Now Sittler has it. The Leafs put great pressure on. McDonald back in front of him. And Harris takes over. Harris again shoots it down the ice for New York. Wow, the Leafs come close. It's 2-1 New York. 43 seconds left in the penalty. And the Leafs on a power play. Salming was knocked down. Harris again doing a great job killing this penalty for the New York Islanders. Billy Harris. Here's Turnbull now, winding up at the blue line. Turnbull to center. Turnbull into McDonald. He's got a great shot. And he couldn't quite get it back. Here's another drive by Turnbull. And a quick save all the way down the ice again. And 15 seconds left in the penalty as Salming picks it up. They'll have to move it quickly if they want another rush with a man advantage. Salming, whoa, what a move in front of the net. Against Pache, knocks him down. Turnbull in with Weir. Weir to McDonald. His shot hit a leg. And Pache couldn't clear it against Valaket. Turnbull let it go. That was blocked by Marshall. A great play, but he hurt himself with that one. And off he goes. Marshall going off, taking that shot. Now Salming into Valaket. And here's Bossy. Whoa! And he hit it. And Salming here, I'll tell you. Oh, handily enough about this Bossy. He never could. Salming here almost lost that puck right in his doorstep. With a score, the New York Islanders 2 and the Toronto Maple Leafs 1. This is Stanley Cup 78. Okay, it's Islanders 2 and the Maple Leafs 1. The Islanders have killed the penalty. And Bossy came close again with Paul Mateer with Winter making a save. Here's his shot by Putman, weak one. Bossy after it. Bossy is number 22, stopping on the board. Good play to Putman. Putman took a shot. That was looped in wide of the net. Gillies was hit hard on the board by Butler. Butler really throwing it. Here's Bossy! Whoa! And Paul Mateer made a great save on Bossy. Hard shot by Bossy. Back for the Leafs, and here's Maloney going in with Jones. Jones threw it into Maloney. Maloney took a drive at the side of the net of Bossy. Comes speeding out again. Here's Bossy to center. Bossy hooks a high one in. As they change while the play goes on, Gillies has Butler again. Here's Gillies looking into Jerry Butler. I'll tell you, Brian, Butler threw about 4 good checks in this hockey game, and 3 of them were on Gillies. 2 in the last minute.
He's an awfully tough man to check, and Butler's doing an amazing job on him tonight. Gillies must outweigh him by 20 pounds. Gillies, a tremendous hockey player. The Leafs have really played the man extremely well tonight. In the game the other night, they were perhaps just a half step slow in their checking. Even though they tried to be physical, they have been physical here tonight, and it is succeeding for them. Here's the flip by Bossy. Now watch the race to the corner by Butler and Gillies, who will get fighting penalties here. Number 9 is Gillies. 2 minutes for high sticking, 2 minutes for roughing. 9:20 the time of the penalties. They are not major penalties. Butler and Gillies.
Bourne nearly got loose after that draw. Ferguson stopped him though. Now there's Bourne again with Johansson after him. They hold it on the boards back of the Leaf goal and get a whistle for a face-off to the right of Mike Palmatier. 10:31 remaining in the third period. 2-1. Islanders leading by just that margin. Ferguson, number 10, at center ice. Jumps the draw on Bourne. Johansson in front of his own goal with Turnbull. Turnbull out across the line. A long pass for Ferguson, breaking in. Ferguson has his man. He scores! Ferguson put it through the legs of Resch, and it's 2-2.
And maybe things are turning around for George Ferguson, who scored 3 goals in the preliminary round in 1 period in just over 7 minutes against the Kings, and now he comes up with the tying effort through the legs of Glenn Resch. Ferguson racing down the right wing, and right now he fires that puck from inside the circle, and it goes right through the legs and came right out immediately, and the Leafs have tied it. Ferguson scores his 4th goal of the playoffs at 9:41.
Well, you can taste that one coming, really, Brian, when Ferguson went down the right wing with so much confidence, and he took that good shot, and it went through the legs of Glenn Resch. And now it's 2-2. What a game tonight on Long Island. The Islanders and the Maple Leafs hooked up in a dandy. Now, to center ice, Pearson shooting one in. Palmatier dropped it back in the net. It's cleared on the board, but not out. Hard near the blue line. Kept it in for Bourne. Bourne going for the net now. Took the pass. And Nielson was tied up and couldn't move. Here's Jerry Hart. He takes the shot and couldn't get a pass away. Islanders with some pressure on now. Pearson steadying up. Took a drive. That's stopped by Turnbull. Turnbull coming out with Ferguson again. Here's Ferguson across the line. Another long shot. This time, Resch got the stick down to stop it. Now the Leafs are changing on the goal. And Bourne stopped by Salming. Oh, he got it away from him and flipped it down the ice. Iceman watches Benny. Benny gets it back to McDonald near the line. And coming out is Salming with Williams. Williams took the pass, and it rolled right to the net where Resch cleared it back of the goal. Williams took Lewis into the boards. McDonald couldn't stop the pass. Salming failed to keep it in. Salming just outside the line. And it's Potvin coming through that hole. Potvin whipped the pass over to Harris. Got it back again. Potvin left it. And Williams trying to clear it out for Toronto. Against Potvin. It's knocked loose for Salming. Here he comes. Down to McDonald. McDonald didn't shoot it. Gave it to Salming. Back to McDonald at a bad angle. Around the net. He was jazzed out of the play. And it's Wayne Merrick coming out for the New York Islanders at the line. Down on the right side goes Harris. Back to Merrick. And he was stopped by Borja Salming again. Offside at the Maple Leaf blue line was Merrick. 5 aside with 1:50 remaining in the penalties. Bossy center ice for New York. Here's Lindner in with a quick shot. And it was stopped by Jerry Hart, number 2, the defenseman. Playing another strong game on the New York Islanders defense tonight.
Well, we will take a quick look at that goal by Ferguson. Turnbull and Johansson drew assists, but Ferguson, well, it was a good pass from Turnbull. Ferguson did the finishing off with a good hard shot through the legs of Resch. Didn't have much room there, as you can see.
Now the face-off, just out from Resch, a little bit to his left. Comes back to Turnbull, crowd of players in front of the net. The green shot was fired wide. Gary Hart, number 2, out against Jones. The pass comes to Trottier. Here he comes. Sees it smoothly. Trottier up over the line with Harris. Shooting one. And Palmetier hopped on it right away as he made the stick save.
Oh, they'll be jumping out in Val-Marie, Saskatchewan tonight every time Ryan Trottier touches the puck.
8 minutes, 1 second remaining in the third period of a 2-2 game. There's some time remaining. That's on the big clock over center ice here at the Coliseum on Long Island. In New York, Trottier with Bossy. And the Leafs are changing again. And Salming and Lenny come on to defend. Williams and Jones are up front.
There he is. They named a new rink after him in Val-Marie. Brian Trottier.
Hart on the defense, took a shot. That went by Palmetier. He didn't see it, but it was off the net. Green shot by Hart. 1:10 remaining in the penalties. The teams at this moment are 5 aside. The score is tied at 2-2. Salming comes out. This is Williams across center. Williams going up over the line. He's driving. Williams lost it out. Nobody could jam it in. And Hart for the Islanders. Out to Trottier. He's coming in with Bossy. Trottier was stopped. And the Leafs clear it off the boards down the ice. And apparently it went over the boards at the penalty box, and it was called back.
Tiger Williams led a good rush down the wing. He was one-handed on the stick and almost shoveled it in front, and it was loose there for just a second or two. Matt Pavlich, the linesman tonight. We're having a line change. Let's catch that rush by Tiger Williams. There's the one hand on the stick, and he just about shoveled it right out in front as Resch started to move away from it.
There's Resch as they line up down on the other end in front of Palmetier, just inside the Maple Leaf blue line with 45 seconds remaining in the penalties. The score tied 2-2. And he knocked it down. Nice one got loose though. Salming had to cover up. He has some speed up now as he comes to center. Salming's drive right on the net. And Resch stopped that. Scoops it back to the goal for Lewis. Lewis tipped it into the board where Nielson has to back up on his own zone. Ellison forechecking. Nielson can't reach it. Lenny ran into him at center when trying himself. Carrying on with Hutman. He's up over the line. Took a high shot. And Palmetier loved that with the right hand. And then held onto it.
You know, I was talking to Bill Torrey about Mike Palmetier before the game, and I said, what's the key, in your opinion, Bill, to this series? And he said, Palmetier, we've looked at the games back, and whenever he's played well, we've had trouble. And he's played well so often against the Islanders. There's that glove stopped by Mike Palmetier.
Now they'll be changing lines quite frequently as the third period winds down. 6:53 remaining. There's the score. 2-2. 13 seconds left in the penalties. The teams are now 5 aside. And it's Lenny, number 24, with Salming. Salming's pass to McDonald. He couldn't move it by Lewis. Hooked it back though to Salming. He's up across center. The penalized players are back on. A long shot, gloved by Resch. And Trottier starting out. Here he comes. A play down to Lewis. Quick through the center ice for Lewis. Lewis going in, dropping it. Gillies did that, couldn't take that move. He was going to the net, then he had to hustle back to turn into the corner. Trottier ran into Turnbull in the corner, and they get a whistle as they hold it on the board. Detroit is up ahead of Montreal. Let's allure you here now in the third period. This Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from the Nassau Coliseum on Long Island.
Well, it is now 2-2 as Bob Bourne gave the Islanders the lead in this third period, but George Ferguson has tied it with his fourth, and things have started to get a little physical as Kurt Walker and Gary Howlett have gotten to know each other on a, well, not biblical sense, but a more personal sense. The tap. This is something that I guess most coaches will say, oh, no, I've never ever sent anybody out to do anything, but the reason that we have you here is not to score goals, so do I need to tap you or do I not need to tap you? Were there any taps involved in this?
Well, I could guess you'd call him a physical tap, or someone turns his tap on, one or the other. But certainly Gary was a tough guy, and he came out to play, and he was out there to do his thing, and Kurt was with us. He was a big, strong guy and willing to do anything to help the hockey team. So I think it was very recognizable when Roger gave him the green light to go out there and take care of business.
Yeah. Now, sometimes it doesn't need a tap. It just means you're going on to play, because most guys that have that kind of a reputation realize that when you're sent out to play, it's probably not to score 3 in a row on the one shift.
Well, you're not really given a script before you leave the bench. You get out there, you do what you do best, and that's the end of the story.
It's a short story?
It is.
It's a short story.
Hopefully.
Now, Kurt Walker's a big, strong guy, and a character guy, too.
Very much so. Kurt was a lot of fun in the dressing room, and he was one of the guys who would just do anything to play in the team and wanted to be a player. Big American kid with the accent. We used to tease him and have fun with him, but certainly he was a guy that was there to help, and he was willing to do whatever had to be done to help the hockey team.
Speaking of doing things that had to be done to help the hockey team, Mike Palmateer is standing on his head.
Palmy was incredible in this series, and there's plays, and you'll see as this goes on through the series, where he's behind the net one time, and Brian Tracci, I think, had the open net, and Palmy, for some reason, got around in front of the net and stopped the puck, and the whole place just went, what did that guy just do? But Palmy's another guy who threw caution to the wind when he played. You could call him a gambler or whatever, or unorthodox, but certainly he paid the price to win, and he hurt himself a few times, but well, let's be quite frank with you, he was the reason why we beat the Islanders.
Now, the situation with Palmateer, and you see him play, and then you see goaltenders in the era currently who are so big, the equipment's gotten so much larger and everything else, who literally just seem to go down and let the puck hit them. Mike Palmateer has to make saves. I mean, there's spectacular movement going on with him. He's flailing around there like a rag doll.
Yeah, he wasn't what you'd call a real orthodox.
Orthodox, yeah, that's it.
Whatever he had to do, he did to stop the puck. And he was a gambler. Like, he'll come charging out to get pucks, or he'll go out and hit a guy, or whatever the case may be. And certainly, catching the puck on the other side kind of helped him a little bit, because most guys caught with their left hand. He caught with his right hand. And Palmy was a real character, and they called him popcorn. He was popcorn in between periods, or a hot dog in between periods, which I thought was absolutely taboo. But if it makes it work, let him have her.
Let him have her. Now, as you're sitting on the bench and you're seeing all of this flailing around and everything else and the unorthodox, did it take you a little while to maybe have a little bit of a comfort zone with this back there?
Well, certainly the guys on the team knew him a lot better than I did, because I just got there in the middle of March and got to play with the team for about 3 weeks. And near the end of that season, Roger was kind of resting Palmy, but once he got into the playoffs and got going, and the things he did, and you have to understand the fact that you make a big save on a guy like a Bossy or a Tracci or a Potvin, it lifts your bench. There's no doubt about it. It lifts you up, and he's going to do his best to get in there. I mean, it's not going to be a fluke that's going to beat him. It'll be a hell of a play, and he foiled them on many, many occasions, which really give our bench a lot of courage.
All right, it's the Leafs and the Islanders, and we're in the third period, tied at 2s. Let's go back to the booth.
6 minutes and 17 seconds. That's the time remaining in the third period. Or tied 2-2.
Hold it,
Not a lot of position. Now they do it. Gillies let it go. That goes over the glass into the crowd. What a game at Montreal tonight, Brian.
Indeed it is. Harold Thompson has a pair of goals for the Red Wings. Dale McCourt has the third. Robinson and Cournoyer for the Montreal Canadiens. That'll be a surprise if Detroit steals one at the Forum. And the Leafs would love to get one out of here tonight. Go back to Toronto for the third and fourth game.
Well, this is anybody's game now. We have 6:14 remaining in the third period. It's tied 2-2. Holding in his own zone for Turnbull. He couldn't get by Bossy, and again it went off Bossy's stick over the board at the Leaf bench.
There's the scoreboard. Chicago 3, Boston 3 there in overtime, and that's certainly a possibility here tonight. Philadelphia leading Buffalo 3-2 in the third period now. And here it's 2-2. Hart from center ice.
Left at it. It's off the boards back of the goal. It finds its way out to the blue line and over it. And Matt Pavlich again. You see him there with the sharp eyes of a veteran linesman. He tells me this weekend he'll do his 200th NHL playoff game.
Yeah, Matt's done a great job over the years. Souvenir time, and they got the hard hat on. You know, there was a time in Stanley Cup play when the referee stepped out and wore a hard hat, but that was 60, 70 years ago.
Here's Hart from center ice. Again, he'll shoot it from there. And Volunteer stopped that with a stick. Gillies going after it. Every shot now is so important in the hockey game. With 5:45 remaining in the third period. Gillies wrapped it up the line, kept it in this time. But the Leafs, Turnbull bringing it out. He has Pickler with it. Turnbull slapped it. A hard shot was wide. Right in front it comes to the right side to go down as Maloney was upended going through the crease looking for the loose puck.
So often you'll find Maloney in that spot. Boston has won in overtime, 4-3. There's the final. Boston 4, Chicago 3 in overtime. Don't have the score yet, but we'll get it for you.
There's Al Arbor. Wow, is the 10th here in the Coliseum. You can't believe it.
Terry O'Reilly got it, Bob. Terry O'Reilly got the winner for the Bruins.
They saw from the left of Resch. The Leafs trying to poke it in. Maloney keeping it in off the line. Maloney gets that stick handle around Merrick. Maloney nearly got it loose in front. It was slapped up by Butler. But now it's Aaron coming out. He was slammed on the boards by Lenny. The Islanders carry on. Now bringing it in, but offside with Merrick. And I'll tell you, there's pressure on the officials even. That was very, very close.
There's Gary Howard arguing the...
Look at this.
Jimmy Jones out there, number 16. My, oh my, how he has come along as a hockey player. A couple of little men there, but scrappy little men. Jones and Howard. Howard, a 144th player taken in the 72 draft. 860 penalty minutes in only 379 games. Somebody asked him before the season last year how many he thought the Islanders would win, and he said, we'll win them all.
Okay, it's 2-2 right now, and it's 5:12 remaining in the third period as you see Matt Pavlich. And now Walker, who has just come from the bench, I believe Walker is going to get a penalty. Andy Van Hellemond, the referee, you see him right there. Yes, sir, he's going. He walked right into the Islanders player. There's Walker.
That's a very bad time to take a penalty, a single penalty. If you're going to take one now, you better take a fellow with you from the other side. Kurt Walker, 26. He's back on the ice now. The final score is in, just been flashed here. Boston over Chicago 4-3. That's what prompted the uproar. Walker serving the 10-minute misconduct. Jones, Howard still serving their 5-minute fighting penalty.
So the Bruins, O'Reilly pulled it out at 150 of overtime to give Boston a 2-0 lead in that series. Right here, while the Islanders leading this series 1-0. This game is tied 2-2 with 2 minutes and 46 seconds remaining. And the fans going wild at the Nassau County Coliseum on Long Island. Now here's a quick shot. Didn't give it away. That was Henning. A weak backhander. And covering up was Paul Matier. Every shot now, as we said earlier, is so important. We're going down to the final minutes of the third period. And you know what that means. If nobody can score in this third period, we'll get another overtime game tonight. In Montreal, the latest we've had was 3-2 for Detroit, leading Montreal, and they're in the third period. Now, Hart getting set, screen shot, picked away by Paul Matier, and McDonald has it. McDonald now coming up with Zipper on a 3-man break for the Leafs. A pass didn't work for Maloney. The Islanders cover up, clear it back to the Leaf blue line. Now the Leafs seem to be getting organized again with 2:20 remaining in the third period. And Hart tipped it away for Harris. Up the line, it's all over. and brought in by Turnbull, and the Maple Leafs are offside. 2 minutes and 18 seconds remaining in the third period. The score is 2-2.
Detroit has moved into a 4-2 lead over the Montreal Canadiens. Nick Libet has scored with 38 seconds left to play. Must be an empty net goal. 4-2 Detroit.
Well, that's a bit of news for hockey fans across the country. An upset in the making there in the Stanley Cup quarterfinals at Montreal. Now, New York Islanders moving it out of their own zone. At center ice is Merrick. Merrick shoots a high one in. Now we have 2 minutes remaining in the third period here in New York. And again, 5 players pile in on the boards and get a whistle in the Toronto zone with 1:58 remaining in the third period.
What a pace these clubs have set here tonight.
Sittler started this game scoring-wise. Pearson tied it up in the first period. Makes that Turnbull scoring in the first period, and Gillies tying it up. Then Bourne gave the Islanders a lead. And the Leafs came back to tie it again with Ferguson. Scored on a solo dash down the right side. Again, the puck goes over the glass into the crowd. 1:53 remaining. There's Johansson. He's in the pressure cooker down, his first playoff.
I saw him before the game, and he was in his long johns getting a couple of hockey sticks ready for the game tonight, Bob. I looked down, he kind of grinned over at me. He just sort of patted his stomach as though he was trying to keep control of all those butterflies down there.
Well, that shows you the confidence that Roger Nielson has in this young man. He's been playing good hockey of late, and he's out there now with 1:53 remaining as the Islanders come on. Suzuki, number 21, got the draw, but right behind the net with the puck is Turnbull. Sittler winding up to the left side. Johansson standing to the right. 1:43 remaining. Now it goes to Sittler. Sittler coming out. He has some room now. He goes to center ice. Sittler speeding in for Toronto. Couldn't go through the defense. And it's Suzuki knocking it down. Coming in with Bourne. Suzuki dropping it for Bourne. Oh! And he put the high shot over the net. And it went over the glass into the crowd. And Bourne has been very dangerous around that Leaf net tonight.
One reason he's been so dangerous is the playmaking of young Mike Gesicki. Watch it again. Bob Bourne, number 14, 2 points Monday night. Got a big goal to put the Islanders in front here in the third period until Ferguson tied it up. And there he goes high over the net.
1 minute and 25 seconds remaining in the third period. The score tied 2-2. Gesicki for the New York Islanders with Bob Bourne and Bob Nystrom. But the Leafs kept the draw. Slip a high one down the ice. Lutman is back with Lewis. And this is Lewis coming out. 1:15 remaining. A pass up by Glenny. Now it's poked away from Glenny by Gesicki. That was close. Here's Lutman trying to break in with Nystrom getting it back. Nystrom took a shot. That's stopped by Paul Matier. Last minute of play in the third period. Ellis coming down with Ferguson. Long shot. And that was off the stick of Jerry Hart. Cleared by Rush on the board to Bourne. Bourne hooked it ahead. And it's Gesicki starting to center. 45 seconds remaining in the third period. And it's 2-2. It's cleared. Nystrom gets a chance now. He couldn't get by the Leafs defenseman Benny. He knocks it to the ice. And now Gillies ran into his man in the corner. 31 seconds remaining as the whistle goes. Here's a big war now. The final score in Montreal. Detroit upending Montreal 4-2.
Wow. Well, now another team can knock off Montreal. The last 2 years, the Islanders have been the only club to be able to come up with a victory over the Stanley Cup defending Canadians. Moments ago here, Glenny made a tremendous check along the boards, playing the man, playing the body. You'll hear Howie Meeker and Bob Golden discuss that so often and how important it is. Glenny taking his man right into the boards in front of that Leaf bench. And the Leafs have really been up for this game tonight.
Well, Nick Libet got the goal for the Red Wings in Montreal, the 4th goal. And as you point out, Brian, that sounds very much like an empty net effort by Libet. And Thompson playing a big role in that game for the Detroit Red Wings. He's been good for Detroit since the trade.
He has 2 goals tonight, and here the Islanders have lost only 4 home games all season long. What's going to happen with 31 seconds left and overtime looming?
We'll see now. The face-off is up to the left of Mike Palmetier. Butke on its center ice with Gillies and Harris and Dennis Putman and Stephen Pearson. That's the New York Islanders lineup. The Leafs have McDonald with Sittler, who takes the draw against Trottier. Maloney is also on. And they got the draw. Pearson back to Putman. Shoots one. And that hit McDonald. Gillies tried to knock it in front. Harris couldn't. McDonald has the 22 seconds remaining. Here's the pass to Maloney. McDonald sweeping down with him. And McDonald was not going through. 14 seconds left. Here's Gillies going in. He's on hit line by Sittler and Maloney. Sittler's long shot. Right on the net. 5 seconds remaining. Ladies and gentlemen, we've gone overtime in this hockey game tonight. There's the horn. The third period is over. And the next time they come back out, these 2 hockey teams, they'll be going for all the marbles. First goal wins it. Sudden death coming up. And so, the score at the end of regulation time is Toronto Maple Leafs 2, the New York Islanders 2. Sittler goes to center ice against Trottier of New York. It's dropped in. We're into overtime now. And Turnbull along the line for Salming. Salming coming up a long shot. Off the boards. Maloney coming in with Turnbull. It's called at the line. Offside. They're a little anxious, of course. Bossy, my goodness, what a year.
There's that longest overtime we were talking about during the intermission. Of their 5 overtime games, only 1 was at Long Island for the Islanders, and they won it 4-3 against Philadelphia.
McDonald whipped it away for Turnbull. Turnbull shoots it in. Back to the net. It's skipped away from Branch. Mark Gillies can't move it. Lewis will try it the other way. Putman lets it go for Bossy. Bossy shoots to the center. The Leafs starting this overtime, looking like they're in control. It hit Gillies at center ice. Turnbull forced back in his own zone. Turnbull around the net with it. Cut off balance. Now hooks it up on the boards. It's still in there. The Islanders are pressing now for checking. It's knocked loose by Sittler. Now again they hold it. 5 players piling in. It comes loose again. The Islanders have it in the corner. Lewis. And he's stopped by Salming. This time they get a whistle for a face-off in the lead zone to the right of Palmetier. They played 50 seconds of overtime. Salming has seen a lot of action tonight.
Well, I think back when the Leafs acquired him a few years back, and some of his friends in Sweden said, don't go to Canada, they'll really hammer you over there, you'll probably come back a cripple. And he did come to Canada, and he has made a tremendous impression in hockey wherever he has played. One of the really great players of our day.
Scoring in the hockey game in the first period, Turnbull and Gillies, both power play goals. No scoring in the second. Bourne gave the Islanders the lead in the third, and then Ferguson tied it. That's it to now. 50 seconds into overtime. And the face-off down to the right of Palmetier. And these face-offs become increasingly important as the game wears on, as you can imagine. You see what I mean? Everybody anxious. Ellis came out of position before it was dropped, so they have to do it again. Sittler, big number 27, the captain of the Maple Leafs, against Wayne Merrick, number 11 of the New York Islanders. It's dropped in, comes back to the line, hard shot, that's picked away by Palmetier. And the Leafs will clear it now. A long pass to Ellis to Sittler. Here's Sittler coming in. He has Ellis with him. Ellis shoots! And that was blocked by Hart. That went wide of the net. Now Pearson back of the goal for New York, coming out. A pass on the left side. Gary Hart through center. Gary Hart up near the line. Away outside is Harris. On the right wing, they played 1:16 of the overtime period.
Hart out there with the beard. The Islanders trainer is even growing a beard because of the playoffs. We're having another line change now. We'll watch these coaches juggle these lines, and a little repair work going on at the blue line as well.
Now Mike Kazicki comes to center ice for the New York Islanders with Bob Nystrom, who had such a great game Monday night, when the Islanders won the opener right here, 4-1. And over on the left side is Bob Bourne. This line has been hot tonight for the New York Islanders. Ferguson, who scored for the Leafs in the third period, is at center for Toronto. Boutet on the left side and Jerry Butler on the right wing. And it's Salming on the defense with Brian Lenny. Pearson and Hart, the defense pair for the New York Islanders. This is Salming back on the net, bumped by Kazicki. Ferguson shot by Nystrom. He's dangerous. He took out a shot away. It comes back in front. Nystrom is knocked down. Now the Leafs get a break. Here's Boutet to center ice. Coming down is Ferguson after it. Ferguson going, and he took a high stick. Accidental high stick, and Ferguson has been cut, I think. He's going off. There he goes. And the Islanders come out. Not very far. Sittler shoots. And he had Resch going the other way, but missed the goal with that shot. Here's Salming going in. Salming gets a chance. Pass it in front of the net, and Bourne comes away with Nystrom. Here's Bourne racing down. He's been great tonight for New York. There he goes back of the net. Bourne rolled it in front of Nystrom. Couldn't reach the pass. He was right in the crease in front of Paul Matier. Now Salming coming out again, and there's Sittler moving down. Oh, look out! Sittler was really belted by Cloutier. It shook him up by Sinks. The Leaf captain moving in slowly. But he's still on there. He hasn't gone up. Sittler took a heavy check from Cloutier seconds ago. Now it's Cloutier coming in. Cloutier over the line. Rolled it into the corner. He got in front of the net in position, but Cloutier couldn't set him up. And they hold it on the board. In the Leaf zone to the right of Paul Matier.
You singled out that check by Trottier on Darryl Sittler, and it really staggered the Leaf captain. Trottier is so deceptive. He's not a tall man, but is he ever solid? Lenny racked him up a couple of times tonight, and he just bounced right back. Sittler will do the same thing. Knowing Sittler, he'll bounce right back, too, and he'll keep an eye out for Trottier next time.
Well, there's one of the more productive players in more ways than one in the National Hockey League right there, Darryl Sittler. I don't think that man knows what it is to take it easy on a ship. When he gets out over the boards, he goes, and he goes. He takes everything, and there he is. You saw that heavy check Trottier put on him, and he's still on there. If there ever was a leader, there's one there. There are many in the National Hockey League. Here's a pass by Trottier. Trottier gets the chance, took the shot, a rebound, Turnbull! No, they score! Yeah, it's in the net. It's all over, and the New York Islanders have won this exciting hockey game, jamming at Lake Palmatier, and the place goes wild. The Islanders are congratulating each other. The Leafs are putting up a protest. Andy Van Hellemond, the referee, was right behind the net when the puck went in from a tremendous scramble in front of Palmatier. The Leafs are reluctant to leave the ice. Who can blame them? What a battle they put up. But the Islanders win it. 3-2 in overtime. The New York Islanders take a 2-0 lead in the series at 2:50 of overtime. I honestly can't say who got the goal because it was a wild scramble. Here it is. Mike Bossy gets it. Mike Bossy scores the overtime winner. Watch it on the replay. The Islanders hold it in. Puck on its way. Trottier's there. He whacks at it. Bossy moves in. He whacks at it. He gets another chance. As Trottier almost smothered the puck. And a third chance. Van Hellemond is there and he signals the goal. Yes, it counts. And the Islanders win it. Watch it again as Bossy, 22, scores the overtime winner. There they whack at it once, twice, and 3 times coming up before it goes in. And this place goes wild. Well, isn't that Bossy something else? There's a big picture of Bossy on that big scoreboard over center ice. They do it all here in New York. There's young Mike Bossy. What a big year, 53 goals, and now 2 goals. In this playoff series, he got one Monday night, and that's a big one, probably his biggest of the season so far, as the Islanders win it 3-2 at 2:50 of overtime to take a 2-0 lead in a best-of-7 series. And now, these two great hockey teams go back.